my mind, now they can't breathe. Take a picture of the crew, that's your last peep. Oh, and need me your love, yeah, that's just me. Keep them jumping like some frogs, so they might be leave when the sun sets. And they don't really wanna bleed from the gunplay. And like mine, niggas smoking weed on the one-way street, nigga. Yeah, we see we outside with it. Pull up to the base like we might be with it on guard. Side these niggas like bullshit and they fraud. Let me chop them down with the sword. Walk them down like they live bars. This the toughest you gon' be in, we too hard. And you don't really want that smoke, my G. sa.neter TV. This the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. The toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Keep that off your lip before you get flipped. We got sources over here, we don't just spit. Too many bosses over here, y'all just legit. Put them niggas in the game, let them get real. Don't even step unless you come in with that scholarship. That economic tip, gotta make a dollar flip. And I might be next, I don't give a damn, a truth rolling with me, so I'm feeling like the son of man. Too many gon' hate, gotta make a stand. I'm just trying to duck the lake, you don't understand. Read them when I greet them, that's my best plan.
Like the video, thumb up the video.
Meet me in LA, oh you just playing. Too many be fake what the bass saying. So I tell them they don't want no smoke before they end up in the newspaper next day. Smoke. This the toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. The toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. Toughest environment, the toughest environment, the toughest environment to be in. And this is it right here. The toughest you gon' ever be in. You wasn't conscious before us. Y'all niggas was asleep. We woke the sleeping giant. We did it. sa.neter TV. So stay your ass in your little box where you feel safe. Cause it's motherfucking monsters over here. Real monsters.
Peace and Pan-Africanism, it's your brother Herman Smalls in the toughest environment you can be in.
Yeah. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know what it is. When I'm playing that type of theme coming in, you know this is a tough brother that I'm dealing with right now. He goes by the name of Khalil Shabazz, a true indeed member of the Nation of Islam who does not bite or hold his tongue. He speaks the truth as he sees fits. And without any further ado, I want to introduce to you Brother Khalil Shabazz. What's going on with you, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right. I want to tell you, man, I've been checking out some of your videos, and I was like, damn, this brother goes hard in the paint. He don't play. He don't hold no punches. And I could see that he is a true member and follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Make no mistake about that. And you're going to see right now, man. Oh, man. So I had to hit this brother up immediately when I've been seeing him, man. You know, what's up, brother? Say that.
The first thing I want to say is that, you know, it's a lot of believers, because a lot of times people get it confused with Farrakhan. There's a lot of believers that actually believe or still practice the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who still holding on to what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. You know what I'm saying? and we look at the you know what I'm saying, the atmosphere that we see now, and it angers us to see how many people copy the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, don't give him credit, and then want to turn around and try to use our teachings against us. Like, I was watching the video because it's pretty much this Hebrew Israelite movement. Because the thing that makes me laugh, because I laugh when I watch these brothers. You know what I'm saying? Because they comedy. They don't think they comedy, but they don't understand. These brothers, most of these brothers probably was born in 1993, brothers born in 2000. So they look and see what the stuff that Bishop Nathaniel might be doing, or they might be looking at Captain Tazarach.
Hold up for 1 minute. Hold up for 1 minute, brother. I want to let you know right now, be careful of mentioning that name, Captain Tazarach. This brother is ruthless when it comes to the information and to the knowledge, and he will end up calling you out
Captain Tazarach before.
Okay, I just want to let you know, Captain. That's why they call him the captain and the mayor of New York City. So be careful, brother.
But this what I'm saying. The brothers who was born in 1993, the brothers who was born in 2000, the brothers that's like in their 30s, they might look at this Hebrew Israelite movement, and to them, they might think these Israelites really doing something big. But what people fail to realize is when Master Farad Muhammad came to Detroit in 1930, the white man used to terrorize black people for fun. That's when we was out in the street. Our God did not wait till the white man cooled off. Then these Israelites, not only do they wait till the white man cool off, they wait till Farrakhan cool off. You know what I'm saying? Because to be honest, I remember the 80s. I remember the early 90s. Only Israelites I really remember was Ben Ami and the brothers from Damona, Israel. Them brothers was cool. You could go talk to them brothers. It was never disrespect.
Right.
But it seemed like when these brothers see that the Nation of Islam has cooled off with Farrakhan, because even in the 80s, he was more militant. You know what I'm saying? During the days of Dr. Khalil Muhammad, he was more militant. Brothers would step to you. Muslims would argue about the teachings. But
yes,
now,
as far as I go back, I'm sorry to cut your wisdom, but as far as I go back, you couldn't say nothing against the Nation of Islam back then. Like you said, those will step to you. But now it looked like the nation have gotten soft a little bit. Do you see that?
Yes, that's a fact. We can't deny it. We live in a time where Muslims got soft.
Yeah.
So the Hebrew Israelites now is taking advantage of an opportunity. Now they feel like, because we've been around for 95 years. We was out when the white man used to terrorize black people for fun.
That's right.
When the white man used to lynch, because we never seen the Israelites shed one drop of blood for the cause. Not one. We never seen none of them brothers go to jail for the Israelite stuff. We never seen none of them brothers on the run. None of that. But when the Nation of Islam, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Farad Muhammad in the 30s, our history started out with us fighting the police. You know what I'm saying?
I remember that, yes.
The Israelites trying to convince us about their mystery God.
Uh-oh.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. He taught us back in the 30s. Brothers would say they would be afraid. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad would tell them, pray to Allah and he will remove the fear. This was in the 30s. When brothers selling Muhammad Speaks newspapers in Pittsburgh carriers, when the white man is terrorizing black people, And we still had to be in the streets. We still had to fight the police, temples being raided. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't the Israelites tell us then about the covenant is with Isaac? If you want to convince us about your God, you're not convincing us when the devil cool off in 2025, when we done had a black president. It's been some year, like a decade, since we done had the white man cooled off so much you can marry white women. Go where you want to go, live where you want to live. It wasn't like that when we was calling on Allah. You know what I'm saying? Even when you look at the Christian preacher, because I was watching IUIC, you know, the covenant with Isaac, the Most High is God. When they get courageous, they go surround a church. It was black preachers who, even though the Israelites might say the black preacher believe in a white Jesus, that might be true. But white Jesus gave them black Christians the courage to shed their blood for what they thought was good for the black man. We never seen that with Israelite. They can talk today. They can talk the big talk. They can talk about the Most High. They can talk about how the covenant is with Isaac. But we never seen you shed no blood for that. We shed blood for what we believe for decades. We've been calling on Master Farad Muhammad since 1930. And we still survived all of that. And this is one thing I want to talk about too. I was watching that video with you and Tazarach. He was taught, it's some points that he made, just a few points that he made in that video that I want to correct. Because the thing that you have to understand about, as what we call in the Nation of Islam, a spook worshiper. Tazarach and these Israelites are what you call spook worshipers. They believe in God that does not exist, because they cannot tell you about their God in the world of reality. They always have to tell you about their God from the Bible. Everybody used the spook God is the champion in the Bible. When you read the Bible, the spook, Shazam, Abracadabra God, he the man. But when you ask him, okay, when did this spook come to America and help the black man here? If you can read in the scriptures about all that the spook did for Jesus, all that the spook did, what did the spook do for the black man here in America? They can't tell. Because the Bible is, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. He said that the white man wrote the Bible to hide the truth from the black man. He said that the white man had poets to translate the Bible. He said when a poet says one thing, he means something else. And this is how the white man, when he wrote the Bible, this is how he hid the truth from the black man. So when the white man wrote in the Bible about the Garden of Eden, and he put the serpent, he put that there to hide the truth from the black man. Go ahead.
This is important. Let me say this, because people think, see the comment up there, he says, my brother Keon, he said, well, to be fair, Allah is spooky too. But see, Keon, what you don't understand, they're not talking about Allah as a mystery God. You see, the true nation of the Islam consider themselves as being the black man is God and the white man is the devil, brother. So this is not the Islam that our brother La follow, like the Arabs. This is not that type of Islam, brother. It's not that type of stuff. All right, check. Go ahead, brother.
So when the white man put a serpent in the Bible, he put that there to hide the real meaning, or he put it there to hide the white man. He put in the Bible, he talks about a dragon. There's no such thing in the world as a dragon. But when the white man wrote the Bible, you could say translate, however you want to put it. When he wrote the Bible, translated the Bible, made his version, he put these words or these symbolic words there to hide the truth. Just like when Tazarach was talking about eating pork. He said that we copy them eating pork because it say we're not supposed to eat pork in the nowhere in the Bible does it tell you that not to eat pork. What the Bible says is, when it talks about the pig, it says that it doesn't cheweth the cud and is not cloven footed. That does not tell the black man not to eat hog. If you got a black man with a slab of ribs and you say, brother, you shouldn't eat that because it cheweth not the cud.
Right.
He gonna be like, oh, he gonna look at you like, what is that? Like, who cares? But what stopped the black man from eating the hog is what the messenger taught us in How to Eat to Live. Because the black man never understood why shouldn't we eat hog. Because if you don't understand why we don't eat hog, if you just read in the Bible where the white man wrote it to hide the truth, because the reason why we don't eat hog ain't got nothing to do with the chew of the cud stuff. Nothing at all. So if you only got that information and that's all you got, that would not stop you from eating hog. Because the Bible also talks about in Peter, or I believe it's in Peter, where he talk about what goes into the man don't defile you. So if you don't understand about the hog and why we don't eat the hog, all you know is the chew of the cud stuff, that'll be enough to say what Peter said. What go in? That's enough because you don't understand why we don't eat hog. But when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that's the key, because all these Israelites are stealing what the messenger taught, adding it with the Bible, and then telling the black man this is what the Bible says. The Bible don't tell you not to eat hog.
Well,
this Elijah Muhammad taught us.
Yeah, I want to add on to what you said. Like, I agree with you 100%. Because I even I told Captain Tazarach that even though y'all called the white man the devil, I said nobody did that until the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came here and taught that the white man was the devil. Before that, there was nobody. They were scared to look them in the eyes. The messenger taught you to look them right in the eyes and stand up. And he began to teach the white man is the devil. There was no Israelites teaching that until, like you said, the white man cooled off a little bit.
Yeah,
that's when they begin to start teaching that.
Right.
Only
that's
one I know.
You're on the Israelites trying to be the Jewish nation of Islam. But now, if you take this same black man that you just told to chew of the cud stuff and he looked at you like he crazy and finished eating his hog, what if you told that same black man what the messenger taught? What if you tell him, brother, you shouldn't eat them ribs because the pig has what is called the trichina worm. And there's thousands of little worms that crawl in your muscles. It crawls up your spine. It gets in your bloodstream, and you can't see these microscopic worms. But if you take some of the fat, put it under a microscope, you can see all these worms, brother. That's not good for you. Then you tell them, brother, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the hog does not have sweat glands. He has a sewer vein. That's why when you eat pig feet, brother, your hands is real sticky. That's nasty, brother. Or, brother, did you know that the hog was grafted from rat, cat, and dog? Or, brother, did you know that the hog was made for medical purposes for the white race? Brother, you shouldn't eat hog. Now the brother understand, like, okay, that's why I don't eat pork. It ain't the chew of the cud stuff. Because when you hear these Israelites on the street copying us, now they add How to Eat to Live. Then they say, oh, that the Bible, the Muslim copying from us, because the Bible said we spoke. No, the Bible don't. Because the white man wrote the Bible. Remember that. To hide the truth from the black man. Because remember, the Israelites talking about King James black. Because some of the stuff that they say, let's just go with the King James. I'm going to finish this point. They say King James black, and that King James wrote the Bible for the black man, and this is our book. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that when King James and them scholars wrote the Bible, they wrote it in a language that a slave would not understand. Not for Tazarach, Bishop Nathaniel to stand on the corner and tell the black man, this is what serpent means. This is what dragon means. This is what this means. Because even today, the Bible still has to. If you gave a black man the Bible today, average black man on the street, and say, read this about the lost sheep, who that's talking about? Don't have nobody tell him, because that's how King James wrote the Bible. He knew that it would be nobody to tell us the truth behind the symbol, because we were slaves in 1611. The slave port was named after King James, Jamestown, Virginia. That was named after King James. King James did not write the Bible so that the black man can know the truth. He wrote the Bible to hide the truth. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was raised by God himself. That's why we don't listen to Tazarach. We don't care what Tazarach has to say. Show us your spook God. The last time I talked to Tazarach, I showed him our God. I told him when our God was born. He was born February 26, 1877. He was born in the holy city of Mecca, Arabia. He came to Black Bottom, Detroit, July 4th, 1930. He met the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in 1931, taught him for 3.5 years. He left in 1934. The messenger took over from 1931 to 1975. That's our God. So when you talking about this spook you talking about, we don't want to hear the Bible. We know the Bible. We taught you the Bible. Let's not forget.
Now, I need you to make this clear because already some of the people in the chat are saying Fuad Muhammad is just another white man. Can you explain the ethnicity of who is Fuad Muhammad?
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that Master Fuad Muhammad's father knew that he would not be successful as a solid black man going to a solid white country, because the spook that the Israelites talking about, he was afraid to come. This spook, the covenants with Isaac God, because when you look at the Bible, even when these Israelites is talking about they spook, these spooks, when you talk about Jehovah, when he came to Moses, if we believe in this story in the Bible is true, Pharaoh didn't have as much power as this white man in America got. So we respect Moses, but the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is 10 times greater than Moses. When you talk about Jesus, the Romans didn't have as much juice as the white man in America got. So even though you giving Jesus all his props, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is 10 times greater than Jesus. Jesus couldn't convert the Jews. Jesus came with Islam because Jesus was a Muslim. He came with Islam. The Jews rejected Jesus. So today, Tazarach talking about Prophet Muhammad came with a new Jesus. But Tazarach don't know, because he worship a spook, that you got a new Jesus in the Bible. It says the gospel according to Matthew. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the original gospel was one book. The gospels revealed to Jesus was one book. The original Torah that was revealed to to Moses was one book. That's why in the gospels it says the gospel, which is the one book according to Matthew. That's a new Jesus, because it's according to him. This came at Jesus had the gospel. The gospel was revealed to him. The gospel wasn't revealed to Matthew. The gospel wasn't revealed to Luke and John. God didn't even talk to them. God talked to Jesus. God gave Jesus the gospel. But the Jews rejected Islam. They didn't want the gospel, because we never think the gospel means good news. God gave Jesus good news. But as the Muslims used to say, good news for the sheep is bad news for the wolf. The Israelites are the wolf. They're not God's children. Because if Jesus would have came talking the covenants with the Isaac stuff they be talking, Why would they want to kill him? Why wouldn't they just accept Jesus if he was telling them, you know, you special to God. You God's chosen people. He coming for you. Why wouldn't they just accept Jesus? They didn't accept Jesus because Jesus was a Muslim. He brought Islam. The Jews rejected this just like they reject Prophet Muhammad. But Tazarach and them say that Muhammad came 600 years after Jesus. That's the same excuse that the Jews gave to Jesus about Moses. Because Moses came 2,000 years before Jesus. So when Jesus came on the scene with the good news, the Israelites was like, we got Moses. We've been having the Torah doing our thing for 2,000. You come 2,000 years. They talking about Muhammad come 600 years. Jesus came 2,000 years after Moses. So the Jews rejected Islam with Jesus, just like they reject Islam with Prophet Muhammad. They rejected it with Moses. Then another, because it's coming in my head. Another thing that Tazarach be saying to try to turn the black man away from Islam. They say that the Arabs worship 369 or 365 gods. That's what they say. That's true. The Arabs worship 369 gods before Prophet Muhammad taught them Islam. But the Israelites worshiped the golden calf when Moses was teaching them about Jehovah. They named Jehovah the golden calf, plus they gave the golden calf credit for parting the Red Sea.
Woo!
Because Tazarach them believe in a spook, brother. Whenever you listen to Tazarach and any Israelite talking about God, remember, they talking about a spook. They can't tell you they spook in the world of reality. They always got to get this spook Bible. The way the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us about the spook Bible, the Shazam and the Abracadabra. He taught us about Acts chapter 1, verse 9 through 11. In the book of Acts, it says that Jesus rolled a cloud into heaven. That's spooky. That's why Israelites love to use it's abracadabra. So abracadabra. They say Jesus rolled a cloud to heaven. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if clouds only go 6 miles high, what did Jesus ride the rest of the way? Because from the surface of the earth to outside of the atmosphere is over 6,000 miles. But the white man wrote the Bible to hide the truth from the black man. So you could have told that to Kunta Kinte. You could tell that to Fiddler. But when you got a person who knows science, you're telling him that Jesus, so how you telling me this is God's word? Because it don't say that they saw Jesus ride this cloud in a vision. They could have got away with the spookism if they were like, yo, I was dreaming and I saw Jesus. But it say that it was the apostles was standing there watching. A cloud, brother, is only fog that's in the air. When you drive and you drive through fog, when you walk and you can't even touch the fog for real, that's what a cloud is. But since the white man wrote the Bible to hide the truth and he wrote it in a language that a slave would not understand, we didn't have nothing to challenge him. We just took it hook, line, and sinker. But now that we know science, we don't go for the spookism. Because if a cloud only goes 6 miles high and Jesus rolled the cloud to heaven, when we get on an airplane, we supposed to be flying through heaven. We don't see that because it's spook. And this is why Israel, another thing they be saying to tell you the abracadabra. They say that you are what your father is. That's what the Israelites say. The abracadabra God, brothers. So Esau and Jacob got the same father. But Esau's supposed to be the white man, and Jacob's supposed to be the black man. But they got the same father. Then when you look at it, they talk about Isaac and Ishmael. Their father was Abraham. But some abracadabra happened, and Ishmael is Arabs now. Whatever happened down the line, now Ishmael just is all Arabs, and that's who the Muslim's supposed to be, Ishmael. But Isaac, he black from Abraham all the way to the day. It wasn't no break in their line. You know what I'm saying? And this is one of the things I want to talk about before I miss my point. That I heard Tazarach be saying, and these other Israelites, they say we worship a rock in Mecca. That's what they keep telling the black man, the mixed leader. They say Muslims worship a rock in Mecca. Now let's go to the Bible about Jacob. Because Jacob is the Israelites' patriarch. He's supposed to be the one who started the Israelites. What did he do with a stone? It says, if you Google, simple Google, because we ain't going to talk nothing at the basic, you can go on Google, brother. You can go on Google and Google Jacob and Bethel stone. The part of the Bible that it talks about this is Genesis 28, verses 18 through 22. What did Jacob do with a stone? It says in the Bible story of Jacob and Bethel, Jacob, fleeing his brother Esau, uses a stone as a pillow and has a vision of a ladder reaching to heaven. After which he set up a stone as a pillar and anointed it with oil. So we kiss the cobblestone. That's what we do. Because usually you would kiss a person. But when you reverence something, you kiss it. So Jacob, usually you anoint a person. But Jacob was showing reverence to a stone, like the Israelites said. We worship a stone, we go to Mecca and bow to the stone. But Jacob, your man, he anointed the stone, set the stone up.
Wow.
Renamed the place Bethel, meaning house of God. We call the Kaaba the sacred mosque. But remember now, they believe in a spook, so they can abracadabra, they can move the goalpost. They're going to have some kind of way to explain it away. But they believe in a spook. They can't show us their God. But let's go on even further than that, because we don't want to stop with that.
All right, hey, let me ask you a couple of questions, and so that I could get some of this out the way, and you can continue to go in. One of the brothers, Bird, Gokd, Gokd, Bird says, you guys have a bad reputation of how you guys dealt with Malcolm. You want to talk about that? Because a lot of young people now believe that it was not only the government that killed him, but it was also the Nation of Islam who killed Malcolm X. You want to deal with some of that?
Malcolm was a hypocrite, number one. Number two, the Muslims told everybody how they felt about Malcolm. Because the thing about Malcolm, and this is another thing about the nation that got soft. Because Farrakhan don't want the Nation of Islam stuff no more. He want the flagger stuff. He want the Scientology stuff. He don't want the nation, the militant, we fighting for Allah. He don't want that no more. He want brothers to be soft. I'm getting to this. Just let me say this. Farrakhan be telling brothers that you supposed to love the black man more than he hates you. That's what he tell them. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us love of self comes first. You can't love nobody. That's the Christian stuff. You can't love nobody more than they hate you. You can't do it. Because when you teach a person to love himself, he would not, after you love yourself, there's no more loving people who hate you, even if he black. Because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, love for your brother what you love for yourself. Don't do to your brother what you wouldn't have your brother do to you. So we don't love even our brother. We don't, if he hate us, we hate him too. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's for no cause. You just hate, why you hate me? So when it comes to Malcolm, Malcolm was a hypocrite. Malcolm was a brother who came into the Nation of Islam, accepted the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as the messenger of Allah. Then he goes out and he slanders the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He was a hypocrite. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us we fight with those who fight with us. And the difference between followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and followers of Farrakhan is when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, he didn't teach us to do nothing that he didn't do. He went to prison. He was on the run. He fought for Islam. He was a fighter. So Muslims under him were fighters too. So Malcolm got guns. Malcolm used to verbally attack the messenger. When he once said now these brothers who he attacked, the brothers who listening to Malcolm attack the messenger, they still believe the messenger of Allah. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was not teaching FOI like Farrakhan be teaching. He taught us to fight with those who fight with, and he said that the white man is like a snake of the grafted type. He said he will strike you without giving you a warning. He said the black man is like that rattlesnake. They will not strike you unless they give you a warning. Muslims was warning Malcolm, regardless of how people want to feel now. They was telling Malcolm in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper about what he was saying against the messenger. So what Malcolm would do is he would come to Chicago because the messenger wasn't saying nothing to Malcolm at first. It was Malcolm who kept coming. Then he allowed the messenger to try to turn black people away from the message. So Muslims fought Malcolm and he's dead. So if you want to read the Muslims, when they felt like Malcolm was going too far, they put his head in the paper. They said that he was worthy of death and that his tongue should be cut out of his mouth. And Malcolm kept doing it. So it's like, how can you blame the Muslims? They love the messenger. The messenger changed their life. Many of these brothers was in prison. What people don't understand, nobody cared about the black man in the mud, let alone a black man in prison. But when you followed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you could tell the warden you a Muslim and he couldn't serve you pork. He had to let you have a Muslim minister come. The messenger was taking care of them brothers in prison, brothers in the mud. So it was black people who loved the messenger, who changed their life. And they warned Malcolm. But Malcolm kept talking. So the rest is history. Because what can we say? It's history. You know what I'm saying? We can't go back and apologizing and talking about it. I don't believe it was the FBI. That's what Farrakhan would be saying. I don't believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told them brothers to go shoot Malcolm. But when you read what them brothers was saying in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, I don't think it was no FBI thing.
Mm-hmm. All right. You yourself, you look like a young soldier. How long have you been in the Nation of Islam?
I accepted my own in 2006.
Okay, 2006. Okay. Were you ever a supporter of Minister Farrakhan? And if so, what changed or what else changed you? What changed you?
The thing that changed me.
Was you a supporter of Minister Farrakhan? And if so, what happened? What changed you?
I was never in Minister Farrakhan's group. I never joined, but I used to go to their meetings. Mm-hmm. And I was I like Farrakhan. Like everybody used to like Farrakhan. I mean, we can't act like, especially those of us, because I never saw the messenger. I never was in the nation under the messenger while he was alive. I never was. So just like everybody else, I love Farrakhan. I used to hear people say Farrakhan changing the teachings, but at that time, as a young man, I didn't know what that meant. You know, I didn't really know about the teachings of the messenger. I just had the message to the black man. And the one thing that the messengers used to say that stuck with me was when he used to talk about the white. That's the only thing that saved me from the Farrakhan stuff. Because when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad talk about the white race as a race of devils, he don't say it like, he said like the white man has no hope. None of them. They babies. The white man that's in the womb, he developing as an embryo. He a devil too. That's how the messenger talk. And they don't have, ain't no hope for him. So when I was about to join Farrakhan, I had went to a meeting. And he was talking about even the poor white people. Like we should try to unite with even poor. And I'm thinking like Elijah Muhammad, he said the white man is the devil. And I liked it that. You know, that was what, like, wow, I'm a Christian and I'm listening to this man say the whole white race is a race of devils. I never heard that before. And the way he used to say it, I want to hear more about that. Like how, what make them the devil? Like how they the devil? Like I wanted to know more. But Farrakhan, he wasn't saying it like the message, and I couldn't get with that. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't get with it. So
now being that we going this way, let me ask you this. Why does the nation call the white man the devil, yet most of the fighting and enmity is black men against black men?
Because black people don't know the history of the nation. That's what black people want to believe. Black people want to believe we was in the 30s and we was calling the white man the devil, but we ain't never fought the Ku Klux Klan. We ain't never got into it with the Italian mob. When Muhammad Ali, just basic knowledge that we know, Muhammad Ali was the first boxer that the Italian mafia didn't control his money. Now, do you think that they left Muhammad Ali alone because Muslims was like how Farrakhan be saying Muslim? Or do you think Muslims was like how the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Muslims was then? They stepped to the Italian mafia the same way they stepped to Malcolm. Told the Italian mafia that Muhammad Ali a Muslim. I know y'all used to kicking niggas around, but you ain't kicking them around. He a Muslim. He got a holy name. He followed on to be Elijah Muhammad. So all that what you used to do, you ain't doing it no more. So the Muslims change. I listen to Money Mayweather, they call him. He be talking about he better than Muhammad Ali. He don't even understand what the Nation of Islam and Muhammad Ali did for him to be as rich as he is now. The Italian mafia used to control. Sonny Liston was bigger than Muhammad Ali. They showed this little Italian. His name was Frankie Carbone. He was an ex-hitman for the mafia, and he came, and they said in his retirement, he became with Sonny Liston, an ex-mafia hitman. This is what boxing used to be. This is what Muslims dealing with these type of Italians. You don't think they got into it with them for them to leave Muhammad Ali alone? But black people would rather think because they love Malcolm and they hate the messenger. So they look at Malcolm like he was the militant one. Look at what the nation did to him. But the Nation of Islam survived the 30s.
But let me tell you why. Let me tell you why, brother. Because most of the people that make that judgment, they never been involved in a movement. They don't know what it's like to be in a movement. You see what I'm saying? That's why. And they don't understand that it would not be no Malcolm X had it not been for Elijah Muhammad. They can't see that far. Yes, sir. You know, they forget that Malcolm was in penitentiary. Yes, and he learned about the messenger. He learned about the word. He learned about the truth inside of the penal system in the penitentiary. And so what made him a man and what made him change was the message the Honorable Elijah Muhammad sent to him. And so they don't see that far. And when you're involved in the movement, there's no crossing the other line. You can't go that route. You know, yes, we love Malcolm, but like the brother said, sometimes you got to look at what happened in history so we don't repeat it over and over again. They can't see that far, brother. They was never involved in the movement before.
And they don't understand what it feels like as a black man living in white America when the Ku Klux Klan used to castrate black men for fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Can I share my screen?
Yes.
How
yes,
do you,
you know how to do it, right?
Nah, brother, I don't know.
You ain't been practicing it?
I know I haven't, brother.
You see, open up what you want to share, and then you see down there where it says present.
Hold on.
Click that present box in another window.
Oh, okay. So I hit open up what I want to share, then hit the present.
Yeah. Click on what you want to share in that window screen that open up, and then you hit the share button.
Okay. Okay, hold on. We about to get into some history real quick. Okay. And then share screen. Okay. Share screen. Okay, this one.
All right,
okay.
I see it. There you go.
Now we about to talk about Carlo Gambino. Since everybody say, you know how the Nation of Islam and we do to black people, we don't do that to white people. Let's talk about when a Muslim got into a fight with one of Carlo Gambino's boss's son. Let's talk about what happened. Because we want to kill all the noise where black people be talking about the Nation of Islam. Now this what happened was this was a FBI. If you look at the top, it refers to FBI agents doing the wiretapping. It was in May 24th, 1965 is when the incident happened. But the FBI had a wiretap on the Italian mafia. And it just so happened when they had this wiretap, they had a meeting about a Muslim named Matthew Shoemake. This is what Matthew Shoemake did to this Italian. Now, this was in the New York Times. It says Rosario, whatever his name is, on May 24th, 1964, was assaulted with a shovel by Matthew Shoemake, a Newark NOI, Nation of Islam. The black Muslims consider themselves a sect of the Nation of Islam, and suffered broken ribs and a collapsed lung. Rosario was hospitalized until May 26, 1966. For all the black people out there talking about every time we see the Muslims, they always doing it to Malcolm and black people, but they don't never do nothing to the white man. Matthew Shoemake beat this Italian with a shovel on May 24th, 1966. He was in the hospital till May 26th. No, it happened in 64. He was in the hospital till 66. Now let's go to what did Gambit. This brother right here is Matthew Shoemake. So what did the Italian mafia want to do to brother Shoemake? Let's just look and see what that. Hold on. Give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
So what did they want to do to brother Shoemake? It says this is the Italian person's son or father. Mind you, they were in New Jersey. They had to fly to New York to talk it over with Carlo Gambino because they found out that he was a Muslim. Because I'm giving you the backdrop so you won't have to read it all. What happened was the father was mad that let's just read it. It says that the whatever his name is met with Frank, whatever his name is, his underboss, on June 1st, 1965. At this time, whoever that is said he had met with Carlo Gambino that day and had told Carlo of this matter. Gambino told him that a La Costa Nostra member can ask for satisfaction in such an instance, but he doesn't have to get it if there is a risk of destroying the Bagatas, meaning family. So what Carlo Gambino is telling his mob boss in Jersey, Usually, if this nigga was a regular nigga, you could whack him. But this nigga is a Muslim. So you ain't gonna get no satisfaction because we never get it if we risk losing or destroying the Begotten. And Begotten means the family. So Carlo Gambino, because we done seen Goodfellas, we see the tough guy Italian, the Cosa Nostra. Carlo Gambino was the head of the Italian mafia. He told them, if you attack this Muslim, now let's go on and read it. Read the rest. It says, whoever his name is and this other person, from their conversation, now appear to be quite ready to hold retaliation in this matter and embracing or forgetting about it altogether. From what was said, they believe Rosario might have avoided this trouble as he started the fight. So now that they know it's a Muslim, now they know that if they attack this Muslim and kill him, that the Muslims gonna fight. Not only is they gonna fight back, but they gonna keep fighting till they destroy the whole family. This was Carlo Gambino. This was a wiretap of, this is just transcript. This was in court. This video was made about this. So this was an actual fact about what Muslims used to do and how they used to fight. Let's go on even further than that because we want to give other examples. Now let's talk about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This was when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was right in the Pittsburgh Carrier in 1957. In 1957, a Ku Klux Klan leader by the name of J.B. Stoner wrote a letter to the messenger. So the messenger responded to J.B. So J.B. Stoner, the Klan's leader, was going back and forth for 2 years. So the messenger was whooping his head with the Bible because the Ku Klux Klan used to think they was the chosen people before Tazarach and them came on the scene. They thought they and the Israelites and Bishop Nathaniel and them. The Christian Knights of the Ku Klux Klan interpret the Bible to say white people was the children of Israel. Just as a side note, you know, the Israelites wasn't telling the Christian Knights of the Ku Klux Klan about the covenants with Isaac. But that's neither here nor there. The messenger had got into it with this Klan member. He was tired of the messenger beating him up with the Bible, so he decided to threaten Muslims in Atlanta. This is the messenger responding to him, and the article is called Justice for the American So-Called Negro. This was the messenger's response to him. He said, J.B. Stoner, Imperial Wizard, Ku Klux Klan leader, who claims to be the arch leader, is trying to stir up trouble for me, for the Muslims, and especially me. But I think and can say with certainty that if his people try doing such evil to my people who are at peace with Allah and the world, they will baptize themselves in trouble that is other than peace. Now let's stop right here to talk to Tazarach and these Israelites. Now you can talk all day about this abracadabra God in the Bible. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he talking to a well-organized group of white people who are about that life, he didn't tell them to open up a Bible verse to talk about what Moses did 2,000 years ago, like how the Israelites do. He didn't say, turn to the book of this. And this right here say that Ishmael really, he was, no. He told them, if you decide to do this evil to my people who are at peace with Allah, you will be baptizing yourself in trouble that is other than peace. If the imperial wizard of the Ku Klux Klan attempt to be carried out on us, I will seek only Allah for our protection. Mr. Stoner knows that 7 powers of Allah are ever ready to defend us in this resurrection. And he is not enough for one of the 7. So back to Tazarach. What Tazarach about to tell us about this abracadabra God? What you think we about to say? Oh, we about to give up Master Farad Muhammad for the abracadabra God. The God, he only can tell us what he done did 2,000 years ago. We about to give up. The messenger step into a well-organized group of white men. And he telling them, I'm not going to bring guns. I'm not going to try to bring no army. We ain't calling the police. I'm going to come down there to Atlanta, and the only person I'm going to seek for my protection is Allah. And he told the devil to his face. He didn't wait till he cooled off like Tazarach and the Israelites have done in 2025. At this present time, let's pause for the cause and talk just for a minute. Let's look at another Muhammad Speaks newspaper in the title of it, just to show you the atmosphere that Muslims had to sell papers in. This is a Muhammad Speaks in 1963 to show you the Ku Klux Klan that the messenger was talking to. When he wrote this article that I'm reading originally, it was in 1959. This article was written in 1963. You see how on the cover it says they wanted King Shuttlesworth. How Ku Klux Klan castrated Negro. This the kind of atmosphere we was in, calling on Allah. So how did Tazarach think we about to diss Allah, Master Farad Muhammad, for the abracadabra God? The God who talking about Jesus rode a cloud into heaven. When we seen Master Farad Muhammad, we was praying to him, and he was protecting us and causing us to be fearless against the white Ku Klux Klan who was castrating black people for fun. Because when you read this article, they was just riding down the street and picked a random black man and just castrated him. That's what we selling these Muhammad Speaks down south. The messenger had temples in the south in 63. We got Muhammad Speaks newspapers where the messenger talking about the white race is a race of devils. While the Ku Klux Klan is castrating black, they said they wanted king. And these is two Christian preachers. Where was the Israelites at? Why they don't say we wanted King Shuttlesworth and Israel united in Christ? We want Bishop Nathaniel too. Even the Christian preachers was out in the street shedding blood for the black man. So I would listen to a Christian preacher tell me about his God, then I would listen to Tazarach. They wait till the white man to cool off to tell us about the abracadabra God. So let's go on even further with the message. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad writes this letter to this Ku Klux Klan member. Then after he writes the letter to the Ku Klux Klan member, this is the Muhammad. It says, defies Ku Klux Klan. Elijah Muhammad invades Atlanta. Now remember, the Ku Klux Klan dude wrote the letter to the messenger, talking like he was going to hurt the Muslims in Atlanta. So when the messenger goes to Atlanta, what do the Ku Klux Klan do? Let's go to that. In the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, you see at the top, it says the day the Klan did not march. Now, mind you, when the messenger was talking to J.B. Stoner, he didn't open up the Bible. He didn't tell him to turn to Exodus and talk about how Jehovah did with Moses. He was talking about a true and living God that's present right now. He said Allah, right now, Allah. He didn't tell nothing about the spook and the abracadabra. He said the Allah that we talking about right now today. He like 7 cats. And you not a meal enough for one of the 7. So then when the messenger go down to Atlanta, that's when the Klan don't even show up. Now let's go even further than that. So then 2 years later, this is a brother named Minister Jeremiah X in Atlanta. It says a Ku Klux Klan security patrol walked behind Minister Jeremiah X, Jeremiah Shabazz of Muhammad's Temple number 15. It says, and an unidentified brother. They were walking in Hertz Park, downtown Atlanta, where the Klan was having a rally. Now, I forgot to put the paper where they was having this rally, because the Ku Klux Klan member said that he had more respect for Jeremiah Shabazz or Jeremiah X than he has for the mayor. Now, the Ku Klux Klan in Atlanta respect the Muslims. You think they was respecting the Muslims because the only people they would jump on was black people? Or do you think they understood that they could get their head bust too? Let's go on even further than that, because we want to give one more example. Now let's go to 1972. Because black people love to think that Muslims ain't never did nothing to the white man. They only fought black people. So if you look at this picture, you will see these police officers with guns, but they running. Not only are they running with their guns, but they dragging one of they officers. It says policemen shot, 2 beaten in Harlem Muslim Mosque. So when you read, I'm gonna read the book, because the white man who one of these white men who in this picture, he wrote a book about what happened with him, and the book is called The Circle of Six. In this book, he talked about what happened with the Muslims when they busted into the temple. Let's just read that for a second, because people always say Muslims don't do nothing to white, they just do it to black people. So it says, halfway up the staircase, they were met by approximately 20 Muslims, most of them FOI soldiers or building security. 2 sets of metal double doors were slammed shut behind them and dead-bolted from the inside. So when these police officers with their gun, now, we only calling on Allah, because Tazarach them be talking about we worship a rock in Mecca. You know, the Muslims were, even though we tell them God came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, July 4th night, but they be talking about they worship a rock in Mecca and all of the Mecca rock stuff. So this white man said that when they bust in the temple, the white man with their guns, Muslims locked the door so they couldn't run out. What else did they do after they locked the door? He said all 4 cops were trapped, surrounded, and becoming increasingly confused as one of the FOI men screamed out, Allahu Akbar. Once again, they didn't tell the white man to turn to the book of such and so like the Israelites be doing. Now that the white man cooled off, now the abracadabra stuff can sound, because if they would have been doing what the Israelites be doing with the abracadabra stuff, they would have got killed. But since they did what the messenger called on Allah, that's what we've been doing since 1930, fighting police, fighting with the Italian mafia, fighting with the Ku Klux Klan. Now, I don't be lying to Muhammad said, if you get afraid, call on Allah. So that's what the brothers did. So what else did the police say? He said, the 4 policemen tried to gain entry to the 2nd floor looking for the cop in trouble. The Muslims wouldn't allow it, and push came to shove. Suddenly, the Muslims jumped the outnumbered cops. One of the 4 officers grabbed his radio and squeezed the mic in an attempt to call his own third. See, now the devil's like, we done messed up. They don't believe in a spook. They believe in a true and living God. Elijah Muhammad told us, the Klan, back in 63. He said, we only gonna look for Allah for our protection. And Allah is like 7 cats. And you ain't even a meal for one of the cats. So now these devils in 1972 is experiencing the same thing that the Klan experienced. But the Klan was a little smarter than them. They wanted to test the water to see these niggas ain't gonna do nothing. We Vietnam vets, we got our guns. So they bust in the temple. The brothers lock them in, call on Allah. Now they squeezing their radios. So he said, there is nothing scarier than hearing the plaintive screams of a cop pleading for help over the radio. So when you look at these police, they still got their guns, but they running. So for all the people who be talking about Muslims don't do nothing, you know, look what they did to Malcolm. Malcolm was, you know, the Muslims, they don't know. Elijah Muhammad said, we don't stop fighting to the last drop of blood. That's what these Israelites don't see with Farrakhan. That's why they think they can test Muslims. They think that abracadabra God is real because Farrakhan, he 91. He ain't really with it no more. He want brothers to love the black man more. Messenger didn't teach that, brother. Let's just give an example. Because we more than proved our point that they fight the white man. If Muslims with the message would have seen these Israelites with a poster of Master Farad Muhammad disrespecting him like they do, they ain't thinking about Farrakhan them coming. They ain't thinking about, but with Elijah Muhammad, the messenger said the white man is like a snake of the grafted type. He will strike you without giving you a warning. But the Muslim is like that rattlesnake. He won't strike you without. So Muslims will see them standing out there being the tough guy. Maybe they don't know what they doing. They are brother. Let's go give them one warning. We about to give them a warning. Look, brother, he the messenger. That's what we believe. You ain't got to believe that, but you about to respect what we believe. Because if we come back to whatever corner you on and we see you doing this, we about to fight. And when Muslims fight, we don't stop to the last drop of blood. You can either take it like Malcolm didn't listen to it, these police didn't listen to it, but the mafia and the Ku Klux Klan was smart enough to listen to the warning. Maybe you might not be that type. Maybe we might not have to come back around this corner and beat some teeth out some heads. Maybe we might have to do that to get you to understand that Elijah Muhammad is the last and greatest messenger of Allah. So brothers today don't see Muslims. They see Ben X. They see Rizza Islam. That's who they see. Messenger didn't have, them brothers was junior FOIs with Elijah Muhammad. They still needed to be taught, them kind of brothers. Elijah Muhammad had the type of brothers that had police running with guns. Because we ain't going to the spook. We ain't getting the Bible when we talk. We telling you he the messenger, brother. You might not believe that. We ain't forcing you to believe, but that's what we believe. And we willing to fight to die for what we believe. Brothers don't see that today with Farrakhan.
Okay. All right. IUIC and ISUPK steals the messenger's teaching and disrespects him. What are some of the teachings that you say, Brother Khalil, that ISUPK and IUIC have stolen but don't give credit to the messenger?
For one, going out in the street teaching a black man. That's number one. That's what they stealing. Because what these brothers don't understand, we got your history. When we was out in the street fighting the police, fighting with the Ku Klux Klan, fighting with the mafia, they was wearing yarmulkes doing bar mitzvahs in the synagogue. We know your history. You wasn't telling the black, it wasn't no black Jews going out telling the black man, don't eat pork. Because what the messenger did, the messenger taught us we were special because we black. Jews always taught you special if you Jewish, not if you black. So when Jews used to see black people in the street and they was suffering, they walked right past. They had the same attitude about black people that white Jews have about other white people. I'm a Jew. I ain't helping this nigga. That's why you don't see What Israelite leader you saw in the 60s? That was the most, if you was going to tell everybody about the covenant, that was the time. Everybody was in the street but the Israelites. So the teaching of you caring about the black man enough to try to help him, that's what they stealing from us. They stealing from us militancy. But they twist, they be disrespectful with theirs. We don't be disrespectful. We don't go disrespecting black women. They real disrespectful to black women. They go out there. Now, this is what Israelites do. To show you how they believe in a spook. They go out there telling black women that they're not supposed to wear pants. Because they say the Bible says that a woman is not supposed to wear that what pertaineth to a man. So they choose, I don't know why they choose pants, but they choose pants to say women ain't supposed to wear pants. But just like they got pants for men and pants, they got shoes for men, shoes for women. They got watches for men, watches for women. They got shirts for men, shirts for women. So why do you choose pants? To say if a woman wear pants, that's what pertains. Everything that they have, even when you look at the Arabs wear thobes. Those them long gowns. They got male thobes, female thobes. So why? They be this, another teaching that they steal. The messenger taught us about the mother wheel. They steal that. They acting like they be calling it chariots. They stole the black man is God. They be talking about the black man is God on earth. Or he in the image of God. The messenger taught us we the nation. They talking about they a nation. When was you a nation? Before the messenger. When was you out telling the black man you a nation? You wasn't doing that. They out there, IUIC got what they call the daughters of Sarah. They be teaching them how to cook and how to sew. They copying that off the MGT. I mean, I could go, they copy everything. When the messenger taught us about hog, the Bible don't talk about the pork worm. The Bible don't talk about the sweat gland. None of that. They telling black people they shouldn't celebrate Christmas. That's what the messenger taught us. Everything we do, every single thing, they give it the Jewish spin to it. Everything we do. We got what the messenger taught us, we can go back with teachings from the 30s. As they be talking about Israelites taught Malcolm. That's what they be saying. Now we saw what the Muslims was doing to why would Malcolm, what would an Israelite, how would an Israelite attract Malcolm's attention back in the 60s? Well, Malcolm got FOI brothers that he can surround a police. What Abba Bivens about to tell Malcolm that he gonna sit down and waste his time and listen to him when he got the, I forgot to put that up there. God, it's a lot of articles that I forgot to put.
So let me ask you this while you pause for a minute. There are 5 pillars of Islam. The first being the acknowledgement of only one God, Allah, and the worship of only Allah. Would you say that many Muslims put the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him, in the status of worship by Nation of Islam members?
No, sir. We don't put the messenger up as, because we believe that the black man is God. We don't believe in a spook. We don't believe in the mystery God. So you got Master Farad Muhammad, which is, we believe, is the divine supreme being. He came in 1930, raised up the messenger. So now the messenger is the messenger of Allah. He's not a preacher. He's not a black leader. He is a man who we believe met with God in person. So to a brother that in the church, you might think because you got a preacher in your church, you don't look at the preacher like we look at the messenger. He the messenger of Allah. He not the preacher. He didn't go get a license from the white man to teach. The messenger didn't read the Bible like Tazarach and the Israelites do and say, you know what, I'm about to go out here and start teaching. The messenger was deaf, dumb, and blind like all of us. But God came himself and chose him. So he different from everybody in America. All black leaders in America, just to be frank, they in the way. IUIC in the way, the Israelites in the way. If they respect us, we respect them. That's how it always was. They copying what we do, but if they respect us, we respect them. Black people been copying the messenger since he came out because he the messenger. He got supreme, that spook stuff. They add the messenger's teachings to the spook stuff and then go out in the street. Another thing they copy from us. I'm going to get back to Elijah Muhammad. This just came into my mind. Tazarach and them think that black Hebrew Israelite, because they ain't never seen the teachings of the messenger. They never saw a Muslim. They see Farrakhan. Farrakhan that added in Scientology. Farrakhan, he done mixed it up. But the pure teachings of the, we will crush them when it comes to teachings. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught the messenger would put you out of the temple if he caught us doing what Israelites do, arguing with people who don't know what they talking about. That's what they do. They go on the corner, argue with black. This man might be at the bus. That's why I call Bishop Nathaniel bus stop bishop. That's what he is. They find a bus stop. They go to the supermarket. They go to the gas station where black people just carrying out their usual tasks. They not prepared to argue with you. The Israelites have books. Go ahead.
Have members in the Nation of Islam, men and women, ever came out to attack you for speaking against Minister Louis Farrakhan?
No, sir.
When I say attack, I'm not saying physically. I'm talking about verbally, you know.
The one thing
like they do Eric Muhammad, you know. And another thing, do you consider yourself, you, Eric Muhammad, like split off groups to be what do they call that? No, first answer the first question. Have they ever attacked you?
They never attacked us. They verbally, like, they argue.
Right.
But the one thing that they can recognize, they understand the difference between people who stick to the teachings of the messenger and people who don't. They can't really argue with you. What they do is they love Farrakhan. And their whole belief is centered around him. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, our belief is centered around the truth. It ain't just centered around, we just got to, Farrakhan 1 minute, he can tell them the white man is the devil. Then the next minute, he can tell them Flager is cool. So it's like they not standing on a solid foundation. They everywhere. They all over the place. But when we believe in the messenger, he just taught us one thing. He was always the same. He always told us the same thing. He never changed. So we standing on a solid foundation. So they might not like me for what I say, because what I'm saying about the teachings of the messenger is true. But they know what I'm saying is true.
Yeah, you got split off groups like brothers like Silas Muhammad. You got Eric Muhammad, Khalil, Shabazz. Do you see yourself as renegade Muslims, renegade members of the Nation of Islam?
No, sir. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the Nation of Islam was going to fall. He saw it.
Yes, he did.
You know, he knew who was going to turn hypocrite, and he was telling, giving people it's a book that Farrakhan used to have, and it was in the Muhammad Speaks during the time of it's called 7 Speeches. Farrakhan I think it was 1971 or 72. He taught about the fall of the Nation of Islam, like in the book. It's called like Warning to the Hypocrites, I think. And the stuff that would happen he was talking about it then. But back then it was like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. So I think when you talk to the older brothers, they were saying they didn't, you know how when you in it, you'll be looking like, how we gonna lose all of this? Like,
you do look like a young Minister Louis Farrakhan, though, brother. I know you probably heard that before.
I've heard that before. Yes. Sir.
Yeah, yeah, man.
I've heard that before. But I go ahead.
How do you? What is your opinion of Dr. Wesley Muhammad, Nuri Muhammad, them young brothers coming up in the nation?
I mean, I just look at it cut and dry. Either you following the messenger or you not. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people over the years have taken the messenger's teachings and added their own ideas to. And of course, when they do that, they gonna sound heavy. They gonna be able to say, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said thought travels at 4,600,000,000 miles. Yakub, that's all well and good. But do you practice Islam day to day, like how he taught us? Or is you just trying to move the crowd with what you saying? Because I remember when Farrakhan had the 1,000,000-man march. That's why the Israelite stuff don't move me no more. I don't care how many people Bishop Nathaniel had marching. To these young brothers, though, who wasn't alive during the 1,000,000-man march, maybe they might be impressed with that. But once you see, as a Muslim, all the he had 2 million men on the tools, just men, 2 million. I remember that. That was beautiful. Give him his credit. That was beautiful. To see all them brothers, like, wow. And then look at him now, like how he be just like Flagger is he the devil. And it's like people can take the messenger's teachings and attract the deaf, dumb, and blind. And that's beautiful. But what's in your heart? Are you doing it sincerely trying to lead these people to the messenger of Allah? Or are you trying to lead them to yourself? Is you trying to build up something for yourself so that you can live in luxury and be a bloodsucker of the poor? Is that what you trying to do? Because if Nuri, Wesley Muhammad, and all them brothers with Farrakhan really love them, they wouldn't allow these Israelites to be talking about the messenger and they don't say nothing, man.
Some people might be sitting back saying, I think Brother Khalil Shabazz is probably just a little jealous of the Nation of Islam. What do you say to that, sir?
How could I be jealous of what Nation of Islam?
Of the Minister Louis Farrakhan followers and the movement.
Jealous of them for, like, when you look at them, see, that's what people say when they don't know history. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad owned cargo ships. He was importing fresh fish from Peru on cargo ships that the Nation of Islam owned. He owned cargo planes. He had one ass in the Muhammad Speaks. They used to say that Muhammad's temple is the unemployment office. Messenger used to apartment buildings, bakeries, supermarkets. He used to have overseas connections. He was the only black man that ever got money from another government. Muammar Gaddafi gave the messenger almost $3 million. So what would I be jealous of Farrakhan them for? They just a stepped up version of Bishop Nathaniel. Farrakhan don't have one ass in his paper. Farrakhan don't be teaching. His paper look like an Orthodox Muslim. The messenger used to have black man stuff in the paper. Black man news from America to overseas. It was black man and it looked black man. Them Arabs didn't like the message. He didn't care. Everything was black. Farrakhan not like, he went Flagger. He talking about L. Ron Hubbard and them and science. What I'm jealous of them for? He kissed. They Savior's Day. They had Flagger. It was black children accused Flagger of molesting them. Black children. They got Flagger on stage talking about why I'm jealous of them. For what? What I'm jealous of them for? I could go over there and be with them.
You talked about the businesses, and you are correct about the fish and the businesses and the businesses that Honorable Elijah Muhammad set up. What happened to the business?
The same thing that happened with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is what happened with Moses and all the prophets
that was being set up by Elijah Muhammad.
He was the messenger. He was the messenger of Allah, and he was able to prove to us that Master Farad Muhammad is God, because we see now, we can't do what he did. We can't unite the black man like he did. All we can do now is just like with Moses when they was in the wilderness. You just got to look back to Moses. I remember when and hold on to Moses, because Moses was the one. Everybody else is gonna be all of these other people talking about the Bishop Nathaniels, the Captain Tazarachs, the Farrakhan's who gonna be like, yo, follow me. But we gotta still remember it was the messenger though. They ain't got nothing on the ball like the we gotta, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. He said that Master Farad Muhammad came to destroy America. He said that he offering to us Islam. He said that the destruction would not come until until all black people had an opportunity to accept the truth. But he said we will be tried. Allah tries just like he tried. He want to see who really believe, because it's easy to believe in a teaching when everything going good, when the messenger got the businesses, when the messenger, but what happens when the messenger not so popular? Just like with Prophet Muhammad, just like with Moses, just like with all the prophets, it come a time where the believer just got to hold on. Do you really believe? That's what we living in now. We just looking back on the heyday of the messenger. Remember, he did it the best. All these other people trying to copy, they wish they had a Malcolm X. That's why they be trying to say they taught me, because they really wish that it was a Malcolm X Israelite.
Talk to us about Wallace Dean Muhammad. How dangerous was Wallace Dean Muhammad when it came to tearing down what the messenger tried so hard to build up for the black man and woman and child? Who was Wallace Dean Muhammad?
Well, Wallace Muhammad was the son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he was a blessing to the Nation of Islam, just like today the blessing for the Nation of Islam is Bishop Nathaniel and Tazarach now. Because just like with Wallace, Muslims had an opportunity to stand up for the messenger, stand up for what you believe, but a lot of them didn't, because it wasn't really in their heart. But it was a lot of people claiming to believe.
So you saying that Wallace Dean Muhammad was good for the Nation of Islam?
I mean, I'm not saying he good. I mean, it's just like with Malcolm.
He went against his father. He tore down the Nation of Islam.
He did. He went against the man. But it was enough Muslims that they believe Wallace couldn't have did what he did. We can't just say, oh, yeah, Wallace was bad. Wallace was the one that was putting the bug in Malcolm's ear, trying to get him to go against the messenger. He the one that was feeding him. No, see, that's what, when you turn hypocrite against the messenger, Malcolm, Wallace wasn't in the prison with Malcolm when the messenger's teachings transformed his life. Right. Wallace wasn't there. But Wallace started telling the followers behind Elijah Muhammad back that his father is wrong, that this is the true teachings over here, the Arabs. He was trying to take the people, the followers, to the Sunni Muslims. This is what Wallace was doing. But that's just like how Farrakhan them doing today. Farrakhan saying he the Messiah. Now we could do like these some of them did then and blame Farrakhan. Farrakhan lied to me. That's why I'm about. No, but if you believe why you care what he say? The messenger taught us that every tub sits on its own bottom. We won't have nobody to blame but ourselves. You accept the teachings for yourself. You don't accept it for Wallace. You don't accept it for Farrakhan. You can't blame none of them Muslims that went with Wallace can blame him. You believe what the messenger did, his teachings help you. That's why the messenger say do for self. That means self as an individual, self as a collective. You can't blame nobody else for you turning hypocrite, man. It's only up to you. Just like us now. How could we who never saw the messenger hold on to his teachings with all this opposition? But these brothers who saw the messenger, saw what he did, we seen the messenger reading them in newspapers. I ain't never seen the messenger. I ain't seen too many Muslims who was in the nation. I seen a handful. How could I believe in the messenger? Hold on to what he said. Never saw him. Never saw Master Farad Muhammad against Farrakhan. Farrakhan saw the messenger. He was his national rep. How could we go against him? If it was somebody, we ain't no excuse. If we could believe in the messenger and we never saw him, never saw Master Farad Muhammad still praying to him. And I ain't ashamed. I know these people be, oh, he a white. That's what you say. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad did. I prayed to him 5 times a day. Never saw him. Never saw the messenger. Messenger taught us, don't just pray to him, believe he heard you. How could we now believe that and we never saw the messenger, never saw Master Farad Muhammad, but these Muslims talking about what Wallace told you?
Is the God of the Torah the true God of the teachings? Is the God of the Torah real according to the teachings of the messenger?
There is no God of the Torah. It's only one God, and that God is Allah. Allah revealed the Torah to Moses. Allah revealed the Torah to Jesus. And Allah revealed the Quran. The Jews are the ones who want everybody to believe that God only gave them rules. But when you look at the law, everything, even atoms have laws. God gives even laws to atoms. Little bitty atoms got a law. They don't go outside. If whatever they supposed to do, they do it. God gives atoms laws. He gives birds law. He gave everybody law. So we can't say the God of the Torah. And then the God, it's one God. The one God is Allah. He revealed the Torah to Moses. He revealed the Gospels to Jesus. But the Jews is the ones who come in there because they didn't believe in Moses. They didn't believe in Jesus. Jesus, when he was on the scene, he told the Jews, he said, I think this is in Matthew. God, it's in Matthew, brother. He said that all the righteous blood shed upon the earth from Abel to Zechariah is on the Jews. He said they murdered the prophets. He said that the Jews that he was talking to at that time, he said, you saying if you was in the time of your fathers, you wouldn't have shed the blood of the prophets, but you want to kill me. The Jews or the Israelites, you ain't special. Why would a black person want to be an Israelite? When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that a Muslim is righteous by nature. Israelites murdered prophets, they murdered Jesus, they add lies to the Torah. Israelites gonna say, this is a lie that they add to the Torah. Israelites say that Noah got drunk. Now, in the Bible, it says that Noah was perfect before the flood, when it was wicked people. So you mean to tell me after Noah sees what Allah do to the wicked, he destroyed the whole earth for wickedness? He was perfect when it was wicked. Now it ain't no more wicked people. It's only his righteous people that got on the boat. So now he want to get drunk. Then they say that Lot had incest with his daughters. Those are the type of lies that the Jews add into the Bible to lie on the prophets. But the prophets was righteous because they were Muslims. Allah chose them because they submit their will entirely to do the will of Allah. That's what all the prophets do. But the Israelites hate the prophet. They hate the gospel. And the gospel means good. It was good news from God. God gave Jesus good news. The Israelites didn't want to hear that good news because it wasn't good news for them. Israel represents the whole white race. It ain't no such thing as a black Israelite. Let me say that. Never in history, they be talking about what? When you look at, I know you know history. I seen you when you used to be in New York selling the DVDs and stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know about J.A. Rogers.
Yes.
And J.A. Rogers wrote, what is it? World's Greatest Men of Color. Why he don't talk about Jacob and Jesus and Moses and these great Israelites? He don't talk about none of them, but he talk about Muhammad. He talk about Bilal. He talk about many Muslims. But don't nobody talk about this great nation of it because it never existed. Everything in the Bible that Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us is stories. It's stories about Noah. There was no flood that flooded the whole earth. It wasn't no serpent in the garden. Jesus didn't ride a cloud to heaven. Moses didn't stick a rod. It's 2025, brother.
But was the Israelites ever in slavery in Egypt?
Never.
Okay.
That story that Honorable Elijah Muhammad, every story in the Bible is talking about now. But the white race wrote the Bible to hide the truth from the black man. So they make you think that it's a Moses that lived 2,000 or 4,000 years ago in Egypt. That didn't never happen. There was no people enslaved to nobody for 400 years but the black man in America. All that stuff they be talking about, the Israel. Show me a scholar that's not an Israelite that write about. Only Israelites talk about Israelite. I never, out of all the time I've been in the conscious community, as they call it, searching for knowledge, I ain't never heard nobody say nothing about no Israelite. I never heard nobody write a history book about Jesus. Israelites, Bishop Nathaniel be talking about Jesus is the greatest revolutionary. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a greater revolutionary than Jesus. When the Romans was in power, the Romans didn't have as much power as the white man in America got. Jesus didn't convert the Jews to Islam. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad converted hundreds of thousands of people to Islam. He left us an $80 million empire. He had ministers, all that. Jesus didn't have none of that. How was he the greatest revolution? He wasn't dealing with a devil that had an atomic bomb. They got planes that can fly all over the world. They can spread their evil. Or Jesus wasn't dealing with that. Neither was Moses. Neither was Abraham. That's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is greater than all of them. But if you a spook worshiper, if you believe that Jesus rode a cloud into heaven, you will believe all that spook is. You believe that Moses put a rod in some water. Millions of gallons of water parted and the ground underneath the water was dry. That's abracadabra. You believe that Esau and Jacob were. Then I was listening to you and Tazarach talk about, and this is the spookism and the move to goalpost. Jacob was a liar. He tricked his father. If what he was doing was from God and it was right, he would have just told his daddy, like, look, man, God said I'm supposed to get this birthright. Him and his mama wouldn't have had to come up with no lie. He put on the little skin so that Isaac would think that was Esau. He was a liar. But Tazarach moved the goalpost. He believed in spookism. He believed in abracadabra. Right is right. Jacob was right. When Jacob wrestled with the angel, he was wrong. The angel told him to let him go. Jacob said, I ain't gonna let you go until you bless. That's like he robbing the angel. If a person came up to you and grabbed you and you told him to let you go, and he said, I ain't gonna let you go till you give me your wallet, what he doing? He robbing you. Jacob robbed the angel. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that Jacob represents Yaqub in the Bible. We can get into that. You know what I'm saying? These brothers ain't never heard the teachings of the messenger, brother. They heard the teachings of. Another thing I want to say. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad never taught us that the children of the black people is the real children of Israel. I get sick of them Israelites talking about, well, Farrakhan also talking about Scientology. All the fakes, Farrakhan is with them. So y'all shouldn't be happy because Farrakhan said something. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, what he taught us. He said the Bible is written in symbolic language. The white man had poets to write the Bible. Just like the Bible uses the word serpent. It don't mean serpent. It uses the word beast. It don't mean beast. It uses the word lost sheep. We not sheep. But the poets write like the lost sheep. The poets talk about Lazarus. They talk about the black man, but they saying Lazarus. Sometimes it says Jews and Israelites. It's talking about the black man, but the black man is not a Jew. The black man is not an Israelite. When you got the Bible, it's not the history of Jesus. It's a story of Jesus. That's why I say the gospel according to Matthew. It's not Jesus. The words written in red wasn't what Jesus said. It's according to Matthew.
Have you ever taken the time to study outside of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and go into Kemet, Egypt, what is known as Kemet, to study the science on the wall?
To study what you say?
To study the walls of Kemet, where you can see actual facts, artifacts, and all of this stuff, man.
I used to, before I became a Muslim, I used to be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But when I got to the messenger, it was over, brother. The messenger to me put all of them to shame. Because the one thing that the messenger did that nobody else did, he changed the way the black man thought about himself. That's the hardest thing to do. Is it's already hard to change yourself. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad in the supreme wisdom that he taught, the white man taught, and this is another thing about be talking about you ain't black, you an Israelite. I saw this brother talking about this sister had a black purse. The brother gonna say the purse black, but you ain't black. You an Israelite, of course. How you gonna teach race pride? Talking that Israelite stuff is hocus pocus. The white man taught us to hate black. He taught us to hate our nose. He taught us to hate our lips. So when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, black is original. Black is first. Black is the best color for a human being. How you gonna argue with that? Not only
here go Captain Tazarach. He's in the chat listening. He's listening to you, brother.
I wanted him to listen.
Yeah.
I talked to Tazarach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not impressed with them, brother.
Right.
Honorable Elijah Muhammad never had brothers on the corner arguing with people who didn't know. Malcolm could go to colleges. He went to colleges and debated this when black people were still talking about they was Negroes and colored people. You never see. When have you ever, even in the days of college, have you ever seen Khalil Muhammad go to the black man who you know is deaf, dumb, and blind? Make a video of this person. Maybe he might say but this is what Israelites like to do. They like to go out in the street with a brother who say he a Muslim. You don't know how long he was a Muslim. You don't know what he know. He could have just joined you, or he could just like Islam and just say, oh, I'm a Muslim. He don't know nothing. But because he say he a Muslim, now the Israelites can act like they heavy. So they put him in the video, ask him questions they know he don't know, because they be talking about ain't no prophecies in the Quran. It is prophecies in the Quran. They be talking about Quran means to recite the Bible. Tazarach, when he was talking to you, he read the verse where the Holy Quran talks about the gospel and it talks about the Torah. Now, I told you the original gospel is one book. The Holy Quran never says, Muslims, go read the gospel according to Matthew. Go read the gospel according, because that's what that's what they wrote to suit themselves. The gospel according to this one. The Torah is talking about the original gospel that was revealed to Jesus. Tazarach them know. The brother on the street don't know. Even in the Quran, in your book, it say that the Muslim is supposed. The Quran also say Jesus was a Muslim. It don't say he was an Israelite. Say he was a Muslim. It say all the prophets was Muslim. It say the proper name for God is Allah. What about that part? But that don't matter. It's toilet paper. But it talk about the gospel. So you supposed to be to the Bible. It wasn't no such thing as a King James Bible during the time of Muhammad. Which gospel did they copy? Or which Bible? Was it the Geneva Bible? Was it the Bishop's Bible? What Bible? They be dealing with brothers who don't know what they're talking about. Muslims never did that. That's why Muslims were able to change all of Black America. Israelites will never do that. When you telling a black man who for 300 years the white man taught you to hate black, not as hard as it was for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to get the black man to love black, now Israelite gonna tell you ain't black. Who going for that? Only people who gonna be happy to be an Israelite is an Israelite. But when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught race pride, you could have been a Muslim, a Christian. When he say black is original, black is first, black is the best color. Not only is black original and first, all other colors come from the black man. You the original man.
Yeah, that's what I was telling this Moor by the name of Lord Abba. You know, me and him been fighting for decades on that issue right there. The brother Lord Abba, he's a Moor. And, you know, I've been trying to tell him that Khalid Abdul Muhammad taught us that black is color, culture, consciousness, and a corresponding cosmic connection. And so Lord Abba, he fought against that. he fought me tooth and nail against that, man. You know, when we say we black, we're not talking about this color. Oh, this is who we are. No, it's a political term. The white man came together to talk about white power, white power. So we came up with something to go against that, and we said black power.
But look,
you know, yes. Talk to us.
When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us about black, he was actually teaching us the science of black. Because even when you talking about farmer, when he plants soil, he will be foolish to be like an Israelite and be like, the best topsoil is black. They call it black gold. When you want to plant vegetables, the best soil is black gold. Now the Israelites say that ain't black. It is black. When you go out in space, they got what you call black matter or dark matter. This is a black that they don't even know, they can't study it, but they can see its effect on the other planets and the stars. It's dark matter. Black has a power. That's why the messenger taught us that God created himself in the triple darkness of the universe.
But you know what happened too?
What's that?
Such a stigma has been attached to black that our people want nothing to do with it. Because when you look in the Bible, you don't see the white man saying, "Oh, I'm not white, I'm not white." They tell you that white is pure, white is good, you know. But when you get to black, they say black is evil. You know, black is dirt, black is wicked. And so they even come up with the cupcakes. I know we heard the scenarios and the teachings of the black cupcake. They say that's the devil's food cake. The white cupcake is angel's food cake. Blackball, blackmail. You know, if I do something against you, I'll blackball you. I'll blackmail you. So everything negative was attached to black. And so that's why our people don't want nothing to do with black. Man, listen, Dr. Khalil taught us that we have the power to define our own words. Why are you defining yourself by what the white man call you? Huh?
But you know what's funny though?
Yeah, talk to us.
Even though the Israelites they try to disrespect the messenger's teachings, but you still gotta go back to it when you trying to reach the black man. So the Israelite, on one hand, he'll say you ain't black. That's black and you ain't black, all that. But when they start talking, you know, the Bible talks about Jesus was a black man. The prophets was black. Why don't you just tell him Jesus was an Israelite? Because black people wouldn't care. You don't get race pride from the Israelite talk. You only get race pride when you talk about color. Because we can identify with all black people when you're talking about color. But when you're talking about black people, everybody don't accept that. And another point I want to make with these Israelites, copying and stealing our teachings.
Uh-oh.
They be talking about, the Israelites be talking about the Bible say Jesus black. The Bible does not say Jesus black.
That's right. That's right. Go ahead.
This is what the Bible say. Let's talk about what the Bible. I hope
break it down. Break it down.
This is what the Bible says. This is what you call, this is a picture of a head. The Bible says in Revelations 1, chapter 4, let's go to it and read it. Let's just go to it and read. And now, remind you, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the white man wrote the Bible to hide the truth from the black man. So what if Kunta Kinte, who didn't have Captain Tazarach and IUIC to tell him and coach him through it? The Bible says, it says his head and his hairs were white like wool.
White as wool.
This is a head. So it's saying Jesus is head. Because when you say like is I forget what word they call that in English. Because when you use like you could have just said in the verse, because it's written in poetic language. They could have just said Jesus' head and his hairs were white. They didn't have to say the like wool. The like wool part is only comparing Jesus's head and his hair to the whiteness of wool, not the texture of the wool. So then the Israelites want to go on and say, well, it says that his feet was like brass, as if it burned in the furnace. Now they say that if your feet black, rest of your body, but the poetic language ain't talking about burning brass to put in the furnace. When you burn, the Bible talks about a refiner's fire. So it talks about how you can purify stuff with fire. Because they already made the point that they don't have to make no more to Kunta Kinte. He ain't got to keep telling them about his feet.
The light part is dealing with the same characteristics of, so when they say his hair and his head were white like wool, they're talking about, see, and that's one thing that the Israelites never bring out. They always say his head was white like wool, but they never say his head. They never bring out the head part. They cut that part off. You see?
Because this is what you got to understand about Israelites, that's why they will never be a nation of Islam. Their whole motivation is out of jealousy of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They not doing it because they love their brother. They telling their brother lies. Because Tazarach, just like another thing he was talking about, the Kaaba. He was saying, and they worship the rock, and they make 7 circuits around the rock. When you read about Joshua in the Battle of Jericho, God told Joshua to walk around the city 1 time each day for 6 days. On the 7th day, he told him to walk around the city 7 times. After he walked around the city 7 times, the walls fell down. So when Muslims walk around the Kaaba, they're not worshiping the Kaaba. When they go to the Kaaba, they going to pray. They're not going to bow down to the rock. But see, Israelites don't care about the truth. They jealous of the nation because we better. We look better. We look clean. We be shining. We disciplined. When you looked at pictures of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you barely seen a brother overweight. They be talking about beards is manly. No, beards is filthy. Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us it's easier to clean the skin on your face than it is a germ-catching beard. So we cleaner than them. Our knowledge is most superior than that stuff they talking about. They talking about Jesus rode a cloud into heaven. It's 2025. They still talking that talk. But they on the corner now. They don't go to Muslim scholars talking about the Bible means, or the Holy Quran means to recite the Bible. I never seen an Israelite argue with a qualified person. They always argue with a person who don't know what they talking about. Muslims never did that. Malcolm was known for going to Princeton, Yale, Harvard, Michigan State. He was going to top-notch schools debating scholars. When you ever seen, even with Khalil, we ain't never seen Khalil beating up on the brother. We love our brother. We know they don't know, so we offer them the truth. When we got on just what I was about to say before. If the Honorable Elijah Muhammad caught us doing what Tazarach and them do, we get put out the temple. He taught us when you go out on the street, you just offer them the truth. Who are you? You just woke up yesterday. You ain't better than them. You don't know no more than them. You just offer it to them. If they say no, then no. You don't go out there and beat up on them because now you know. You didn't know yesterday, though. You was eating whole yesterday.
Okay, so now we winding down from the interview, right? Let me ask you, are you open to take a couple of questions or not? And I will let you know that it can get rough. That's why I said this is the toughest environment to be in. So it's up to you. If you want to open up for questions, that's on you. It's up to you. I do not allow no disrespect of my guests. You can ask a question if we do open it, but there's absolutely no disrespect of the guests or nothing like that. But it gets a little tough with the question and stuff like that. So it's up to you, brother.
I guess I'll take questions.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Remember, family, and there's always be respectful to my guests. If not, then I will just kick you out of here. I will kick you out. You know how I do. And so let's drop the link. There's the link. Turn on cameras. Ain't no coming and hiding. We want to see your face like you see ours. And Question and answer period. There's the link in the chat. Q, chill, brother. I don't need you here, Q, right now, man, because I know how you get, Q. Okay, here's a respectful OG. He calls himself Apostle Zaquan. And I hear, go ahead, Apostle. Go ahead. You got a question?
Yeah. Peace to you, brother.
I see you got your hookup looking good, Apostle.
Yeah, we got everything.
Still got the echo, though. You still got the echo.
No, I don't understand why, but
That's the one. All right, go ahead and talk. I'm gonna put mine on mute.
Okay. I got two questions. Just based on the cobbler that you just talked about, why y'all march around it. Well, we were instructed to march around Jericho for the purpose of destroying the city. And that's what the Most High did. But when y'all walk around the cobbler, it's not for the purpose of destroying it. It's like y'all are honoring it. Y'all are lifting it up. So how can you compare walking around the city of Jericho, which to this day do not exist, was destroyed? But the Kaaba is still standing, and the Muslims are kissing it, and they kissing that stone. So why would you use that as a comparison, man?
Well, the honorable, you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
The honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the black stone in Mecca represents the black man. The black man, the Jesus in the Bible, he said that the stone that the builders rejected have become the headstone of the corner. In the Kaaba is the sacred mosque. The black stone is in the corner, and it's the headstone. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the sacred mosque has a veil over it. That black covering if you take that black covering off of the Kaaba, it's bricks underneath there. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that the Kaaba has been veiled, or the truth of it has been veiled until the end. He taught us that they make 7 circuits around the Kaaba, which represents the 7,000 year. He taught us that the white race had 6,000 years to rule, and on the 7,000 year, they was gonna be destroyed. So that's the symbolism in marching or making 7 circuits around the Kaaba. But the truth of it has been veiled until the end, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that 2 gods can't rule at the same time. So in order for the right race to rule, they had to rule under tricks and lies, the science of tricks and lies called tricknology. So this is why the truth of the Kaaba has been veiled for 6,000 years. But we living in the 7,000 year, where all of the truth have been unveiled. That black stone represents the black man. The black man is the stone that the builders have rejected. All the Muslims come around the Kaaba stone to make 7 circuits around. They don't know that stone that they kissing represents the black man. They don't understand that the white race have been ruling for 6,000 years and he the devil, but the black man is the God. And you making them 7 circuits around the Kaaba in respect of the black man. So the Kaaba stone in Mecca, it has more symbolic meaning than what most people think, because the truth of it has been veiled.
All right, Apostle, you got a reply?
Yeah. Honestly, brother, that stone is a asteroid that fell from the sky.
Meteorite
that fell from the sky. It is, and they find meteorites everywhere. They all look the same. But and the white man has not been in ruling this planet for 6,000 years. You just came in the rule under the Greeks, and the Greeks barely existed over 1,000 years ago. So 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years since Christ, and 1,000 years before that is when the Greeks rose up. Before it was the Greeks, it was the Minoans, and they were black. So the Greek civilization started as a black civilization. But I don't know, maybe you can do some history on that. When I grew up, man, in Washington, D.C., there was a government building. It was called the B'nai B'rith that was taken over by some Muslims. You know what I'm talking about? In the 60s.
I think I could have heard of that, but I'm not too familiar with it.
You're familiar with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Oh, yes, sir.
And you know what type of Muslim he is?
He was a Hanafi or something like that, wasn't it?
Hanafi.
Yeah, Hanafi.
You know his organization took over the B'nai B'rith, the Jewish-owned government building in Washington, D.C., with the intentions of starting war? Was the Fruit of Islam there? Did they go join them Muslim brothers?
We don't, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we don't do that kind of stuff.
All right, Apostle. Let me go to the next brother. Amon Ra McCarthy, turn on that camera, brother. Let's go. Amon Ra McCarthy, he's a preacher, a pastor. He have his church. Praise the Lord, Amon Ra McCarthy. What's up, brother?
You know I got love for the channel.
Yes.
Love to the brother that's on here and my brother Apostle.
Gotta talk up. Talk up.
Can you hear me? Okay, I had a question. I believe when he was speaking about Jesus, how his head and hair was white as snow, it was during a revelation. It was in Revelations. It was during a time where it wasn't like looking at me and you right now. It was during a fascinating moment, a moment of power and glow. I don't think it was nothing like, like you and I are looking. That's my feeling. But the question I have for the brother is, first of all, I love Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the brother Farrakhan. Are you against Farrakhan? Are you FOI and against Farrakhan? And the other question is, what color does the Quran speak of Jesus?
Well, I'll say this about Farrakhan. I'm not with him. I'm with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I believe that what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. He taught us that he is the messenger of Allah. He taught us that Allah chose him to teach the black man. At the time that when Allah chose the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, it was 17 million. When all of us joined the Nation of Islam as FOI, we say that our job is to deliver the dead to deliver the 17 million to the Lamb of God, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That means all black people. That's what Farrakhan accepted. That's what Muhammad Ali. All of us who joined the Nation of Islam joined something that was around before we came. The teachers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was around before Farrakhan joined. So when Farrakhan decides to change a teaching to benefit him, or just to give you an example, brother, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad met Master Farad Muhammad, and he talked to Master Farad Muhammad, and all that we know comes from Master Farad Muhammad. But Farrakhan says that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad pronounced Master Farad Muhammad's name wrong. Now, I could be a fool and follow Farrakhan and start calling Master Farad Muhammad something different from what the messenger taught, which would be stupid because Farrakhan didn't know about Master Farad Muhammad. All he know about Master Farad Muhammad is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. So we all accepted the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as the messenger. So when Farrakhan decided that he didn't want to go along with that, I can't go along with him.
But I love, I'm a Christian, but I love Farrakhan. All the years that he put in to help change the plight of the black man and woman in America, no matter what, I got love for the brother. He has done so much that I've listened to tapes and YouTube you know, along with sa.neter and everything, you know what I'm saying, all my growing up. And I just don't see how, you know, we can just negate all of the good that the brother has done for so many years. I just don't understand. I don't agree with everything you say, but as far as the fundamental, like, you know, a tree has a beautiful root, and we all are the same root, whether you believe it's Allah, you believe it's God, Yahweh, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same root. But as we sprout up the trunk, it starts to branch off in different branches. But we all come back to the same root. And so I just don't understand. I mean, you know, do what you want, and that's your, I respect that. But I love the brother. Even though I'm a Christian pastor, I love Farrakhan. I love all that he has done in his career and what he has done for the black man and the black woman of this country. But my other question for you was, what color does the Quran say about Christ? Or does it say a color about Christ?
Well, from my understanding, from my understanding of the Quran, I don't know for certain if it even talks about Jesus's color. I know it talks about Moses being black, but I'm not for sure. So I don't want to mislead you, but I'm not for sure.
Does the Quran also say that Christ is the one that's going to come back, not Muhammad, but Christ? Even if Muhammad, if you guys believe Muhammad was the last prophet, how come he's not the one that's going to come back? How come it's Christ that's going to come back?
We don't believe that Christ is coming back. We don't believe that any physically dead person comes back from a physical death. Just like how, no disrespect, but in the Nation of Islam, we call that a spook belief.
Yeah, and also to add on, in the Quran, it says that Prophet Muhammad was the last and sealed of the prophet. That's dealing with that book there. He's the last and sealed of all prophets, according to, you know, the Islamic teachings. Let me move on over to eBay. eBay, what's up, brother? eBay is a more. See how many teachings that we have in here. We got a Morris brother right now, eBay. We have a pastor. We have a pastor, and then we had a Hebrew Israelite. So I mean, we are, and I always say that we are a people, man, that is so mixed up with so much stuff that we follow and believe, brother. All right, let me get right back to the
it's on.
Brother eBay. We have the biggest identity crisis in the world. We
Definitely.
are everything, brother. We are everything. And that's
Nah.
I'm not saying in a way where that's good. I'm saying this is bad in a way. We got everything but the truth. You know, we don't want the science. We'll take the Bible over science any day. We'll take the Quran over science any day, because we've been taught to believe in something that exists outside of the body. We've been taught to fear the devil. Oh man, the devil gonna come. So we've been taught that, you know, and that's how the slave master programmed us during them 400 years of slavery, brother. And so now we get up out of it physically, mentally. We messed up. He got us mentally. That's why he took the chain off. He said, we still got the Negroes. They mentally messed up. Go ahead, brother. eBay is on you.
Well, first I rise giving praise to Allah, honors to his prophet, noble Dra Ali, and honors to all the prophets. Peace be upon them. But what you're talking about, Sai, about the religion is really a science, right? It's the science of man and his connection to Allah and everything around him. But I did want to ask the brother a couple of questions, right? My first question to the brother, and this is no radical or agitating speech because that's against my laws, right? But I did want to ask you about the prophet Noble Dra Ali and his relation to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, right? Did Elijah Muhammad receive any teachings from Noble Dra Ali?
No, sir.
Okay. So you never heard of a pool bay?
No, sir.
Did Elijah Muhammad wear a fez?
Yes, sir.
Where did he get that fez? The idea of wearing a fez.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that what he teaches us came from Master Farad Muhammad.
Okay.
So what he taught us came from Master Farad Muhammad.
Okay. So you're unaware that both of them attended the Moorish Science Temple of America?
I'm aware that that's what people say.
Mm-hmm.
You might need to do your history, brother. You know what I'm saying?
So
Look
let me
into a
ask you
pool
this.
bay.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
If the Honorable Elijah Muhammad learned from Noble Drew Ali, why didn't Noble Drew Ali's movement flourish like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's movement if he was taking something that he learned from Noble Drew Ali?
Good question.
Well,
good question.
That is a good question, because you had discrepancies before the prophet died. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanted to be the prophet. Everybody wanted to do their own thing. So you had Elijah Muhammad go out to Detroit, I think it was, and start his own temple. You had Farad Muhammad, right? No, Farad Muhammad went out and started his own temple. Then he brought the brother Pool Bay, which y'all call Honorable Elijah Muhammad, under him, right? And so you had all of these Kirkman Bays and all of these people who was going against the prophet, and nobody ever went with what the prophet left us. And so now you got these branches of different, things, but his information is still here. Moorish Science Temple is still up and running, right? And my second question to you, brother, if we know that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is telling us that we not black, why do y'all keep pushing this narrative that as if people are crayons or colors, instead of telling the people that they got a nationality?
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us.
Teach, brother.
That the black man is God. The black man created himself in the triple darkness of the universe. So everything you see was created by the black man, but the black man was first. The black man was before crayon. So when we talk about, this is stuff that people try to say to try to, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you personally, but I heard many people talk about the crayon thing. Men make crayons. Crayons don't make men. Men make crayons and decide how dark they want the crayon to be, how light they want the crayon to be. So we don't determine who we are based on the crayon. Men made crayons. We made the earth. We made the moon and the sun. We grafted the white man from the black man. So when we talking about black, we talking about black being original. Black being the best color for a human. We're not talking about a crayon is not the best color for a human being, but black is the best color for a human being. That's just the facts. Just like, if you a farmer, if you want some topsoil or some soil, you want the blackest soil you can get. You ain't talking about, well, I ain't gonna say it's black because of crayon black. You talking about, as a farmer, you talking about the science. You're not talking about no crayon. So crayons have their place. They have their place for a coloring book. But when you're talking about the black man, we're not talking about crayons.
All right, let me move on over to Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph.
Hold on. Okay.
Hold on, I'll come back around if we got time. Joseph, what's up, brother?
What's up, Si? How everybody doing out there, man? I just want to ask my brother one question. I said I was going to ask. So you saying black represents us as a people, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If black did, why did Jesse Jackson in 1988 fight so hard to get rid of that stigma of black, Negro, and colored and changed us to African American? Because no matter how you look at it, we still gonna be African American. You can call yourself black all you want to. It won't be. Courts won't acknowledge that.
When we say we black, once again,
that's a myth.
Okay. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us about black, he not only taught, he taught us how black is the best. He taught us how every other race comes from black. So when you talking about black, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us about Yaqub. He said Yaqub is the father of the white race. He said Yaqub was a scientist, and he discovered that if he separate the brown germ from the black germ, he can graft it into his last stage, which would be white. He said once that germ got to this last stage, which was white, it would be no more original. It would be weak and wicked. Them is facts. The white race is white. They weak bone, weak blood. They stale face. They attract germs. They white. Now, you cannot want to call them white. But scientifically, when you break down, just like when you talking about animals, you have different kind of cats. The lion is different than the tiger. The tiger's fur is different than the lion's fur. You got to recognize we black people. We might have different shades, but we all black because we are the original people. We're not talking about these different terms because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was taught by God. He wasn't taught because the white race robbed us of the knowledge of self. They taught us that we was Negroes and colors. They got us to hate black because they know black is the best. They don't argue when we call them white. They don't argue with that. Black people, the ones who had it, because we lost the knowledge of self. We don't know how valuable black is. That's like a person who had money but don't understand its value. That's black. If we understood black, we would love black. But since we don't understand the power of black, how everybody wish they was black, that's why they all hate us. We don't understand the value of black. Our skin color is the best color for a human being. It's white people who sit out in the sun and get skin cancer because they wish their skin looked like our skin.
Okay, now what you just said, you said black represents us, right?
Yes, sir.
Represents us. But let's break down the word black. When you go back to the Romance language, which America is one of the latest Romance languages that we have. When you go back and trace in the Latin form of black, it'll relate back to a color as a sable. It'll relate to a color. So you mean to tell me now we had Mandaeans. We got, okay, matter of fact, I'm gonna use this. You're more, right? Well, you're Muslim, right?
Yes, sir.
So why would you change Muslim to black, knowing black is really a color? No matter how you look at it, you can go back to the Latin term, which all the Romance languages started from, and you can go right back to America. Black is gonna be black because black is burnt. Black means burnt too. It don't got nothing to do with a race. And then that shows the ignorance of Elijah Muhammad or whoever he is that's sitting up there telling you that black is a race. And I can take you back to our heritage of Orientalism. I can take you back to Asian. I can take you back to Indian. I can take you back to Iraqi. I can take you back to a lot of tribes that never called themselves black. They called themselves who they were. And now you want us to believe that black represents us when now in today's time, back in 1988, Jesse Jackson, that's what he was fighting against. And like he said, his own statement, being called a Negro, a colored, and being called black is just as baseless as the other two terms. So therefore, which we was termed the corn African American, and that's American law. You can call yourself what you want, but you would not be recognized like that in America, even in the court system. If you're trying to get your original heritage back, that's facts. You going off what a man telling you, and God said every man is a liar. So you are already breaking one of the commandments. Well, not even gonna say commandment, but rules to the way God wants you to live. So I'm at that, man. I don't believe that black mess.
And black was given to us by.
All right. Hold on. All right, brother. Khalil, we say, man, if you don't want to be black, then that's you. That's
you can be what you want to be.
Yeah,
You want to get it right, sir.
God taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
I keep trying
The black man wasn't arguing with the white man when he called us a Negro. He said we was colored. He taught us to eat hog. He taught us to hate our. We wasn't saying all of this. Well, we ain't gonna be respected in the court as a Negro. You just accepted what he said.
Okay.
But then when God come and raise a messenger and give you supreme wisdom and to give you race pride, teach you how to unite with your black brother, now you trying to say we ain't black. But the thing about it is, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that he not here to force you to do nothing. If you want to be African American or whatever you say you are, be that. But I'm black.
I'm not.
And see, that's the easiest way to go as well. You know, scapegoating, skating through it, because you know, man, in the time of the 60s and the 70s, we were a proud people, man. And when I say a proud people, I'm talking about these young teenagers. These were the Black Panther Party. They were kids. They were teenagers. And they stood up for our fight, for the rights. But see, the Negroes today, man, you want to be everything. You want to think you are a scholar. You want to, you know, try to break down every goddamn thing, but scared to stand up and fight for who you are. See, right now, what you're doing, you're going by what the white man telling you to call yourself. You're using the white man definition to identify you. You know, if Prophet Noble Drew Ali was so great, why is he going by their definition? This is why I tell you, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, he came and gave us a definition. We never had a plebiscite, brother. We never came together. What I mean by that is our leaders never came together and said, this is who we're going to call ourselves. But you reference Jesse Messi Jackson? Come on, brother. He said, Jesse Jackson said to call ourselves African American.
Hey, I wasn't going to say that, bro.
Oh, why can you say that? Can you say for sure?
Hold on, y'all. Let me finish. Let me go on. I want to move on because we got a few people in the building. Let me get Prince Charlene Dean up in the building, the Mighty Hebrew. What's up, man?
Shalom, shalom. How's the family?
Everybody good, brother. What's up?
Islam, more.
Shalom, shalom to the family, Islam Hotep. To the brother, how you doing, man? I just want to ask you a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
I'm great. Yes, sir. Over here in Africa, just chilling. But check it. Are you familiar with a man by the name of St. John the Divine?
I'm not too familiar with him. I don't know, brother.
You should. The reason why I'm asking you, because certain things you were saying that, like, it was like a blanket statement, and I noticed you're focusing more on ISUPK and IUIC, stuff like that. But the Israelite culture is not a monolith. That's number one. And we know that the Israelite culture existed amongst our people in the United States before ISUPK even came into existence. Well, St. John the Divine, he came around 1914. He was an Israelite, and he was from New Jersey. And he taught that the black man was God and that the black women were goddesses. And you can go get a book called Black Judaism, and they gave the whole breakdown of St. John the Divine. Also, you were saying about the will. You was talking about the will or the mother plane, where you had a man by the name of Prophet Frank S. Cherry, who came in 1886, and he talked about Ezekiel's wills and his works. You can go right now to 25th and Nicholas Street in North Philadelphia, and they was teaching well over 100 plus years about the will within the will being the UFO. They were the first documented Israelites to teach that. Also, you were saying in the 60s, you didn't see any Israelites making noise. Well, you had dudes like my late spiritual grandfather, the late Prince Asiel Ben Israel from out of Chicago. You had the late Ben Ami. You had many Israelites that was making noise, such as Beit Hetzabah, who was a part of the Cecil B. Moore riots in the 60s, which originally it was called Columbia Avenue, and then they changed it to Cecil B. Moore Avenue. They was a part of them riots fighting white people. You see, you
Let's
know,
get to your question, brother. Let's get to your.
It really wasn't a question. It was really, yeah, it really wasn't a question. It was just, I just wanted the brother to know that things that he was saying that the Israelites took from the Nation of Islam, I'm saying I could show that there were Israelites before Elijah Muhammad was even born that was teaching the things that he said that the Israelites took from him. That's all I came on, just to clarify. When you're speaking about Israelites, it seems like you got like a broad brush, but there's Israelite communities all over the world that existed before ISUPK, before IUIC. That's all I wanted to say.
But because I bear witness about Ben Amina. I before I was because that's what I said when I first came on, that in the 80s the only Hebrews that I remember was Ben Aminim and the ones from Dimona. And I said that they was the cool ones. We used to chill with them. We used to could talk with them. So I understand that it's Israelites or Hebrews. I address IUIC and Tazarach because they attack us. We don't have to. Let me say this to the if it's IUIC watching or Captain, we don't have to talk about y'all. We made a name for ourselves. We already respected in the community. We don't have to tell people about y'all God. People know where we stand. Y'all the ones who attack us. And to the point that the brother was making when he was saying that it was some brothers who was in 1914 that he said that they was teaching that the black man is God and other things that he said. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. It was prophesied in the Bible because the Bible is mixed with truth and falsehood. It was prophesied that God said, behold, I will send you Elijah, and he will turn the hearts of the children to the fathers and the hearts of the fathers to the children. That's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It also talks about the spirit of truth in the Gospels. It says that the spirit of truth will lead you into all truth, not just a brother here saying, well, the black man is God, but he adding it, he got some other stuff he talking about that ain't right. Or another brother over here that, no, the spirit of truth leading us into all truth. All of it he teaching us. He ain't teaching us a little bit, some of it, he teaching us all truth. And that's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did. I'm not trying to take nothing from no brother who may have been teaching some truth in 1914. I don't have, if you don't disrespect the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I love you as a brother. But it's these brothers who did, if you disrespect the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I ain't got no love for you. If you hate the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I ain't got no love for you. That's how I'm coming. I'm not talking to the brothers who respect the nation, who respect Elijah Muhammad. I'm not talking about them, bro. I'm talking about these Israelites who be talking about us like we just ain't been here for 95 years. That's who. So when I talk about them, I'm not saying it to say that I feel like those are them the ones who be talking about us. So I be talking about, I don't mean no disrespect. Whoever the Israelite or Hebrew, and you respect the nation, we always was like that. We never was no people. Ben, I mean, then we used to get along with them. We didn't never had no beef with them. They never told us that we worship a rock in Mecca. They never said that. You know what I'm saying? I remember, just not to go on long, I remember when I was in Atlanta, I used to go to Ben Aminim Soul Vegetarian. I was talking to this brother. He was in the Wisdom Hut, they little bookstore. I was in there. I used to come in there and I used to talk to the brother. He the one who told me where I was like, where the Muslims be? He was like, oh, it's the brother. He sell papers on this. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say, they worship a rock, brother. You know. He was like, oh, they be on, you know. He told me where to go. You know what I'm saying? So I have respect for any brother who respects us. It's not a thing where I'm against Israelites. I just don't like the disrespect for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Thank you. You clarified that. You definitely clarified that. Shout out to sa.neter Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad's wife, who will always come visit us in Demona. And I'm definitely familiar with Wisdom Hut, ran by the late Prince Yahuda. You know what I mean? He just made transition.
Now my people, I'm still interested in these Israelites that you said that you made a claim. You said they was here before Elijah Muhammad existed. Where were they when? Where were they? What city were they rocking in? What noise was they making?
I mean, like for instance, you got a man by the name of Rabbi Washington who started the first holiness kingdom communities all over the country. They have farmhouses in Trenton, New Jersey, California, New York, Philadelphia, and the FBI came in there and shut him down. You can get a book, it's probably like over 500 pages. It's called Black Judaism. And inside that book, it starts around roughly 1798. And it starts to get into all the different Hebrew Israelite communities that were established in the United States. So my whole
with the point the was making, the point that the brother was making was that during that time when the white man was cold and hard, there was nobody making no noise except the Nation of Islam during that time. That's what we're talking about. They wasn't running down on. They wasn't running down on the mafia and stuff like that. Where was they? That's what I'm asking you. Now, I'll give you the benefit. Hold on, brother. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, they probably did exist, but they was more existing in the form of teaching and stuff like that, right? They wasn't the militant. They wasn't militant.
Let's get down to the nitty gritty. If you look at the UNIA movement by the late Marcus, most of the members were Black Israelites. This is a historical fact. So when you start talking about Rabbi Arnold Josiah Ford, those from Beth B'nai Hebrew congregation from out of Harlem, New York, we got a court records that a lot of the activity that was going on in the UNIA, if you talking about the amendments that were in the UIA, Rabbi Arnold Josiah Ford created all that. Rabbi Arnold Josiah Ford and Marcus Garvey went to court behind this stuff, and it was a sad moment, but Rabbi Arnold Josiah Ford won the case. So all the Negro spirituals that were sung inside the UNIA, Rabbi Arnold Josiah Ford wrote that stuff. When you talk about the bylaws and all that, Rabbi Arnold Josiah Ford wrote that. The point that I'm saying is when they say Israelites weren't there, they were there. They actually helped shape a lot of these organizations. Another thing the brother said, that before the Nation of Islam, there was nobody on street corners. The first Black speaker that's on historical record to speak on street corners was a man by the name of Prophet William S. Crawley. He used Malachi chapter 3 to speak about the coming of Elijah. Many Israelites acknowledge that to be the late Prophet William S. Crawley. You can go to a place known as Scopeford, Virginia, where to this day, They got their own community, their own police, their own fire department, streets named after them, their own schools. And he goes back to 1896. So the disservice is coming in when we have this blanket understanding of Israelites, which you see on the street corners.
Let me say this. Now, I did research on Jews. Like, the thing that's different when you talk about these Jewish brothers that was on the streets. Before the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, all of the rabbis, they didn't think that you was special because you was black. They thought that you was special if you were Jewish. They was not going out in the street to help just the black, like your average black person. You think that I'm only dealing with Jews. If this person ain't born Jewish, I'm not helping them. I'm not going to go out and tell the average black person that's in the mud that he shouldn't eat pork. Black Jewish rabbis was not doing that. Even though you had black Jewish rabbis who was in before the messenger. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us to love your black brother. That means if he a Christian, if he a Muslim, if he black and he in the mud, help him. Israel, Jewish, they wasn't doing that. And that's why I believe that IUIC, Captain Tazarach and them is so jealous of the nation of it because the disrespect that they give us, you would not give a group who been through the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s and survived it all and still here now. You would at least have some respect for them. Even if I don't agree with Dr. King, but he gave his life for the black man. His house was bombed. He was stabbed in the heart with a envelope opener. He was hit in the head with a rock when he was in Chicago. How am I just disrespect that man? I don't agree with him, but I'm not going to get out here and disrespect that man like he wasn't nothing, because whatever he believed in, he gave his life for his. What no Israelites doing? Tazarach and them wasn't in the street. ISUPK and IUIC, they talk that talk now. But where was they when the white man was busting heads? If we the true Jew, if we the covenant with Isaac, why you wasn't telling the black man that in the 60s? Matter of fact, why didn't you introduce the Most High to the white man?
Yeah, hold on for a minute, Mighty Hebrew. Let me say this right quick, right? Ima, I'm speaking to the brother or sister who got the comment up on the screen. So running down on the mafia did what for the community? See, first of all, in order to know what it did, you got to come out of the Bible sometime. The Bible is not a history book, man. It's not going to tell you what it did. But there was a man by the name of Bumpy Johnson of the 60s and the 70s as well. All right. There was a man by the name of Bumpy Johnson who went up against the mafia. And you said, what did it do for the black community? It stopped the mafia from running down on black people.
Right. Right. What are you talking about? That's like asking somebody.
Hold on. They was trying to come into Harlem to sell their dope, to take over Harlem. But Bumpy Johnson and his men nipped that right in the butt. They stopped that. They said, you're not coming into Harlem. And don't forget, he also gave security to Minister Malcolm X, man.
Yeah, because Bumpy Johnson was selling the drugs in the community.
Hold on, I'm talking.
I'm just saying, Bumpy Johnson was selling the drugs in the community.
All right, hold on, brother, hold on. I know it's easy to try to tear down your own, but we're talking about with the mafia. The brother said, what does that do for the community of the mafia? That's what I'm speaking about. And then when you hear other brothers making stupid statements like, I saw the comment up there. Where's that? He said, we're not
talking
black.
about Islam.
No, I'm talking about something else, brother. He said, we're not black. We're not crayons. But you are quick to say we are brown. We are the color brown. Isn't brown a crayon too?
We're not brown or black, man. That term was given to you.
My man, listen, brother. Stop, please. Just like more was given to you, brother. All right?
No,
just
sir.
like all that stuff was given to you. It came from man. Understand that. All the stuff that we dealing with today, it all come from man. It don't come from no spook. So it was all given to us, man. What is you talking about?
Chinese people don't call themselves yellow.
Let me move on. Yellow. All right.
Yo, I gotta go, sa.neter. I just want to make this last comment because I gotta go.
Hey, is Elder sa.neter, brother? Elder. You got to say Elder first.
No problem. Zaquain sa.neter. Zaquain is elder.
Thank you, brother. That's all.
Zaquain is elder in Hebrew.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
So this is what I'm saying. Two things I want to say. I'm familiar with, when that was a woman where it says Ima in Hebrew, that means mother. My father was a part of Philadelphia Black Mafia, and he was under the late Jeremiah Shabazz, the one that y'all was talking about in Atlanta, Georgia. I raised being in the first resurrection of the Nation of Islam. So I'm highly familiar and regained my Israelite roots when I was 18. I'm 48 now. When you were saying about the Jewish, the Black Jewish rabbis, this is why it's very imperative for us to understand the difference of Hebrew Israelite sovereign nationalistic thought versus Black Judaism. So you got two segments that are taking place. You had those that came under the umbrella of Prophet William S. Crawley and Cherry, and as they blossomed, they started to create what you know as the quote-unquote Black Hebrew Israelite movement. Then you had those that came under like Rabbi Wentworth A. Matthews, Rabbi Arnold Josiah Ford, all these different cats, and they created the Black Judite movement. You have Rabbi Arnold Josiah Ford saying being Black and proud. And here's a little catch for you. The first ones to say being Black and proud on historical record, if we talk about fact check, you can go to the Gods of the Metropolis book. The ones that coined that was the Black Israelites. And they coined that in 1896. I'm talking about on record. So this disservice of thinking that Israelites, and I'm trying to make a distinguishment because there's a difference between a Black Jew versus an Israelite. That has to be made clear. Even though y'all boggle them up as the same, they're not. But the point that I'm saying is there's historical records, if we talk in academia, of Israelites using the term Black as a conscious movement identity before any movement of Black people on the planet. So we can't just manifest this disservice and blanket all Israelites the same. That was my whole argument, because what I'm watching, and if my children are watching, they can ask the question, why is he talking about Israelites like that? We don't do that. So there has to be a distinguishment. You understand what I'm saying? That the community I'm a part of is the community in Dimona. We don't act like that. So now it has to be some type of distinguishment. That's all. But I got to go, Elder sa.neter. I love you, man.
All right, peace, brother. Yeah, but that's why he did made it extinguish. He did separate it. He called out names specifically. He said IUIC and ISUPK. Of course, the brother wasn't talking about the whole family of the Israelites. He said only those who attacked the messenger. So he's supposed to stand up and defend the messenger, just like every other culture would. Every other person who's in a movement would stand up and defend their leader and their messenger. All right, so let me go on over to Cube. Cube, don't start nothing crazy, brother. Ask a question, and let's keep it moving, brother. We want to keep it moving. You got the floor, Cube. Cube. All right, good. We moving forward, man. We moving forward. All right.
What's up, man?
All right, let me get on over. Nah, hold on, brother. You spoke already. Let me get on over to Neil Spite. I might come back around you if the brother got time. Neil Spite, what's up, brother?
Yeah, peace to the family. I want to say peace to Jonathan, Jabari, Shaka, all my Kemetic brothers and Afrocentric brothers. I haven't heard the whole 2 hours, not one thing of African god deities. All I hear is Arab outside people's, Hebrew gods being in high places, when we know we didn't play like basketball as a whole team of Africans and we just slipped through everybody, didn't touch nothing, came to America from Arabia. That's the most.
Okay, hold up for one thing. Hold up for 1 minute, Neil Spite. Did you read the topic? Did you read the title? The title wasn't about Africa. The title wasn't about in Kemet. Did you? Now, when you see the title and it says the history of Kemet, then you're going to hear the history of Kemet. Right now, it says, Brother Shabazz, Nation of Islam, is tired of the disrespect of the messenger. So that's what the topic was about. It was about that. It wasn't about Kemet. It wasn't about none of that other stuff, brother. But go ahead.
So I got one question for that, dude. I wanted to ask the brother, the minister, brother, have you ever heard of Lucius Layman?
No, sir.
Lucius Layman is supposedly taught Farad Muhammad in Folsom Prison everything about Islam. He was a black man from California, and it's been suppressed by the nation for years. That's it. That's all, sir.
All right, brother. All right. All right, man. Let's go on over to hey, Abdul, you got to turn on the light. You got to come out of hiding. Yeah, see, nobody can see you, brother. You got to come out of hiding, brother. Abdul, look at you. We don't know who you are, brother. We got to see your face. So let me get on over to let me see. All right, there you go. Brother Abdul, what's up, brother? Salam alaikum, brother. Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum, brother Shabazz. I first want to start with the term black. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught that black is not a color, that black is the essence from which all color comes. All color got its base in the black. Likewise, white is not a color. White is the absence of color.
Yeah.
You know, you can get white is recessive, black is dominant. You can get the recessive from the dominant, but you can't get the dominant from recessive. So we are black people, and I don't know why. Well, we like you told them, sa.neter, we rather take the terminology that the white man give us than to accept what we give to ourselves. But I wanted to deal with the part the brother was Shabazz was saying about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, all praises due, and Minister Farrakhan. I think the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said in 75, he mentioned all of the things that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad built and how great everything was, but one of the last things he said was that the nation was going to fall. But then don't worry, because it's going to rise again, never to fall again. So it was his son that brought white people into the nation and changed the nation from the direction that it was going. The part that I got with Brother Shabazz, I agree with a lot of the things that you're saying. You're definitely up on the nation. But the part I got a problem with, and a lot of people do it, is when they, in some words, you ain't condemn them, but the things you say about the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. I say, if you remember, also the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that, and this speaks to why people like you mentioned, Minister Nori Muhammad, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, Brother Rissa Islam, and the likes. The reason I feel like they don't come on to defend a lot of the naysayers that talk negative about Minister Farrakhan, because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you don't have to condemn a dirty glass. You just put a clean one beside it. So we see the works that he did. We see the works that the Honorable Minister Farrakhan did, going back to when he did the Million Man March, and Minister Nori Muhammad was on sa.neter show and pointed out all of the great things that's been happening since that time for black people, and how we rose up. And you got a minister on there that was saying how much he loved. I mean, a Christian minister loved Minister Farrakhan. So I want to say to Brother Shabazz that you really don't have to condemn anything that Minister Farrakhan did. I hear you, Minister Eric Muhammad, that been on sa.neter show, Salis Muhammad, other brothers that's part of a Nation of Islam that's separate from the most, from the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. But I say to you and for all of them, then put the glass on the table. Put your works up against the works that the minister, that Minister Farrakhan done, You can't take away from that work and say all of the people that he continued to raise up. So many people love him. That Million Man March wasn't 2 million Muslims in the nation. It was black people from all walks of life, from every area. And I'll close on this point. We have to realize that unity for us is not us all belonging to the Nation of Islam or to Christianity or to Hebrew Israelites or any other thing, to no other Greek organization. It's about us wherever we at. Everything we do, if we do it for the betterment and the goodness of us as a people, then we moving in unity. All that other stuff is uniformity. We don't all have to belong to the same thing. You can believe what you want to believe. You can be an atheist and don't believe, but you believe in betterment of ourselves and our people, and we moving us to where we need to be, because the America gonna fall. And it's going to be the black man right here in America, like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught, that's going to bring them down. It's going to be the war to end all wars. And we need to rise up and take care of ourselves. Don't get into this political stuff. Democrats, Republicans, we all arguing about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is so bad. Well, all them white people been bad to us. And we need to realize that and stop picking my whitey is better than your whitey. They all look at us the same way. Don't matter who we are. Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X said it when he was on there with the scholar. And he asked that black scholar, he said, what do the white man call a black man with a PhD? And that brother had his eyes all up in the sky, thinking hard. What do he call him? What do he call him? And when he got finished, Malcolm X said, he called him a nigger. That's what he called him. They all fight against our own. We want to argue. You say this, you say that. Believe in what you want to believe in. But let's believe in moving us to where we need to be, because it is the time for the black man to stand up and fight our open enemies, protect our women and children. I thank you for your time, sa.neter, and I think it's a good show. I respect you, brother, but I think we need to stop condemning our own brothers, because we might not believe in everything and the way they go about doing it.
Yeah, but before you go, let me let you know this too. This is supposed to be 2025.
Go ahead.
We got to stop thinking now that the only enemy we got is the white man. You know, you got the Chinese out there. You got all these other different nationalities that's out there. It's not just the white man in 2025, brother.
Right. Let me say this to that too,
sa.neter. And put on our necks.
Right. And you right, sa.neter, and I agree with you. But let me say it this way too. But the one thing we got on our side, and the brother from South Africa that they locked up for all of those years, and then he got out and became the president. The bottom line is, prove what you said. But if we look at it, all of us, the black man, the red man, the yellow man, the brown man, all of us got a common enemy, which is that white man. He's the #1 killer on the earth, and his plan is to kill us all. But the way to do that is to make us fight each other. So that's why I say it's time we all got to look within ourselves. Black people have to get ourselves together. The yellow man had to get himself together. The red man had to get himself. The brown man had to get himself. And all of us come back and get rid of that #1, because he is the devil. Nobody wreaked more havoc on anybody. They killed off the Asian people. They took the land from the Native Americans. They brought us here and made slaves out of us. They beat all of the people of color. They beat us all down to the ground and make us disrespect each other, and we get lost fighting each other while he sit back like he ain't had nothing to do with it, and we're going to keep him in power. Malcolm said this. I'll close with this. Malcolm said when he meet with the people around the world, around the globe, he say it's only when they bring the white man into it that they can't come to agreements. They come to agreements with the brown, black, yellow, and the red, but when you add that white man, it ain't no agreement, because he don't believe in unity with none of us. He don't even unify with his own, but we still let him dictate where our mind's supposed to be. All people got to look within themselves to get us out of this mess. But we got to remember, all of us have a common enemy. And if we get together, we can crush him. And if we do that, then we'll reach the levels that we want to live. And black people that was brought here and made slaves, we are the chosen people of Allah. We the chosen ones. That ain't saying that the black people in Africa don't mean nothing. This for you, son. You always look at it like we trying to discard Africa. But no, remember, at one time, Africa wasn't even called Africa. And he's saying that the black people, even some blacks, had something to do with us being here as slaves too. So it's time we stand up, because we God's chosen people, and we supposed to lead us and the rest of our people out of this chaos. Go ahead, brother Shabazz.
Let me say this. A lot of times people look at us and say that we coming against Farrakhan. We not coming against Farrakhan. We just saying what the messenger said. And it seems like to other people who like Farrakhan, it seems like to them that we coming against Farrakhan because Farrakhan is not saying anymore what the messenger said. Because when you look at the word opposition, the root word for opposition is opposite. Farrakhan is saying something opposite of what the messenger said. The messenger taught us that the white race is a race of devils. They 100% wicked and evil. So if I continue to say what the messenger said, then to other people, it's going to look like he against Farrakhan, because Farrakhan talking about Flager is his brother. He telling people Flager all right. I'm not necessarily like against him like people be trying to say we hating on him and look at all his good works. That could be true. But what we do as Muslims, we accept the messenger. We take our oath as Muslims that we believe Allah is God. We believe the messenger is the messenger, and we just say what he said. So when Farrakhan says so many things that oppose what the messenger originally said, it seems to people who like him that we are against him, or we
Right, I can agree with that, a lot of that, but just because minister might say something about a white man here or there, he never changed his story. He still believe and know that this white man is the devil, and that's the one that we as a black people have to stand up and demand our rights and fight this government, because we'll let them send us anywhere in this world to fight against people of color without even batting an eye. But when it comes time to stand up and fight him, we're afraid. The black man have to stand up. If we want our women true respect, then let us stand up to that white man who been beating us down since we've been here, and put a stop to it and take us to our rightful place. So I agree with you, brother. I just think that a lot of us go harder on Minister Farrakhan and hold him to a standard that we don't hold ourselves to. I hear plenty of people say, I ain't condemning them all, but we don't. Thanks for the time, sa.neter. More than.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, let me get to these other two brothers. So before we close out, before I get the brother Khalil Shabazz to close us out, I don't want to have the brothers here for nothing. Go ahead, Bakwash. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, shalom to everybody. I got a shalom to the brother Shabazz as well. I got a question for you.
This is the Israelite brother right here. Go ahead, Bakwash.
Actually, I had two, but I know you're short for time, so I'll ask the one I want to know the most important. For years, I hang out with a lot of Muslim brothers on the job, and they always bring up a complaint. They say that the brothers who follow the Nation of Islam, your method or your standard of worshiping who you call Allah is made up compared to traditional Islam. So my question to you is, what's the difference between you brothers and the brothers who follow traditional Islam?
The difference between us and them is Allah came and made himself known to us. Allah didn't come and make himself known to the Arabs. We know who God is. So we worship God in the true sense. We don't worship spooky stuff. We don't believe in spooky stuff. We believe in the world of reality. So we worship Allah the way that Allah taught the messenger that we should worship him. We don't worship spooks. We don't worship something that we don't know. We know what we worship. We know what we do. We know who we do it to. We know why we do it, because we was taught that. And the difference between us is Allah came and made himself known. So it's no question for us about who Allah is and what he wants and expects out of us.
And to add on to that, brother, the same way Yeshua, you say that Yeshua came to raise up the lost sheep, the lost Israelites. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad came strictly to raise up the black man in the wilderness of North America. It was strictly for black people, like everybody else have their way, have their thing, right? And you can't be a part of that. But so when it comes to us, we want to include everybody in our movement. And that's why it never gets nowhere, because once you include everybody, now it's open for everything. And brother, no, the messenger came strictly for the black man, woman, and child, to raise us up, brother. Not everybody, just us. Just like you say, Bakwash, in your Torah, you say that your Lord came strictly for you, for the Israelites, to raise y'all up. So if you can justify that, then why we can't justify it on our end and say, well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came strictly to raise up the black man and woman. That's all, brother.
Well, can I ask both of your question on the statement?
No, you can ask the brother the question. I just wanted to add on to it.
To the brother from the FOI, what sa.neter said, is that written in Quran?
Once again,
it's written in the message to the black man, brother. That's
so it's not in the
black man Quran, brother.
It's not in Quran.
This is the thing that you don't understand. When Prophet Muhammad came to the Arabs, they rejected him. Everybody rejects the prophet because their excuse always gonna be about the scripture that came before. When Jesus came on the scene, the Jews was talking about, we got the Torah. We don't want to hear what you talking about with the gospel. That ain't, we don't know nothing about that. But when God raises up a prophet and a messenger for the people, he raises up one to deal with the conditions of the people at that time. So when he raised up the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for the black man in America, our condition is different than the Arabs' condition was 1,400 years ago. We was robbed of a knowledge of self. We was forced to eat hard. That wasn't the condition of the Arabs 1,400 years ago. They went astray. Islam had always been in Mecca. They had the Kaaba. They went astray. We didn't go astray. We was kidnapped. We was robbed of a knowledge of self. We was robbed so thoroughly of a knowledge of self that the only way we could be helped is God had to come himself and raise up a messenger from among us to teach and guide us. So of course the Arabs who following teaching that's 1,400, of course they're not going to agree with what we do. And we don't care what they agree with. We thankful to Allah for his coming to us. He the one who saw fit to come to us when we was here with this devil that was castrating the black man and lynching us and forcing us. So we don't care what they say, what they think, what we do. Do what you do. But our God is Master Farad Muhammad, and our messenger is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
So it's safe to say that with all you just said and what you believe, you are outside of the Quran for the most part, and because hear me out. Okay. Because everything you said, you can't back up with the Quran, and then in your statements, it sounds like you're saying that because of conditions on the black man and black woman and child, you take this position instead of being a Muslim, a hardcore Muslim, and residing spiritually in the Quran, because everything you said is not Quran, and what you're following and the way you dress and what you teach, a lot of it is contrary to Quran. It sounds like. So is it safe to say that you're moving in a different capacity that is outside of the Quran for the most part?
No, sir. We're not moving outside of the Quran. The Quran says, I believe it's chapter 62, verse 2. It says Allah will raise up a messenger from among the illiterates, and he will teach them the book and the wisdom. That's not talking about Prophet Muhammad. That's talking about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because when Prophet Muhammad was on the scene, the Quran wasn't a book. He didn't sit around. He got the revelation in a 23-year period. When he got the last revelation, he died. So after he died, they had to compile the Quran into a book. So the Holy Quran prophesies of a messenger that would be raised among the illiterates, and he would teach them the book and the wisdom. That's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And what he taught us is different from what the Arabs practice, because we have a different condition. Our needs are different. That's just like right now, we still practice Islam, but we don't have to go and dress like desert Arabs. They live in the desert. We don't live in the desert, so we don't have to do what they do. We can practice Islam the way the Holy Quran says that it gives everybody their own acts of devotion. We have our acts of devotion in the Nation of Islam. Master Farad Muhammad is our God. He came to us. These Arabs was passed us by. Arabs come over here to be with the white man. They don't come over here to teach us. How was we gonna know Islam if it wasn't for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? What Arab was coming over here telling the white man to stop feeding us hog? They didn't care, just like they don't care now. A lot of these Arabs who's Muslims sell black people pork and cigarettes, lottery tickets. We supposed to be waiting on them? No, Allah raised up a messenger for us, and he taught us. He raised us up. And what we do, if people don't agree with, we ain't mad at you. But we believe people gonna respect us like we respect them. You ain't gotta understand what we do, but respect us. We ain't bothering you. We practice Islam better than any Orthodox Muslim. They smoke cigarettes. They still drink. We clean, we discipline, we neat.
And to back up what Brother Khalil Shabazz is saying, here it is right here in the Quran. Yes, according to the Islamic belief, Allah sent a messenger, prophet, to every nation as it is stated in the Quran. The Quran mentioned in the Surah 1636 that we certainly sent into every nation a messenger saying, worship Allah. So right there, even in the Quran, go and look it up. It says in the Quran that Allah sent a messenger to every nation. So the Arabs got Muhammad, right? The black man got Elijah Muhammad, but y'all don't want to accept him because he black. He looked like you. You know, you don't want to accept the man that looked like you. You want somebody outside of you. You see what I'm saying? So even the Hebrews, they got Yahweh. The Jews, they got Yahweh. They got all of that. Every nation should have their own prophet. And if you got somebody that don't look like you, and you talking about this is my leader, this is my, come on, man, something wrong with you. You still mentally enslaved, brother.
Hey, I was gonna say something. Can I say something else? Or I'm talking too much.
Yeah, I want to move on, brother. I want to move on because we got
hey, sa.neter.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something. Something was being said in the audience, and that they cut Philadelphia out. I want to make something clear. If we talking about the Nation of Islam, we got to talk about number 12 mosque from where my father came out of. Earlier, I heard the Elder Zaquain mention about the Hanafa Muslims and what happened in the early 70s. Anybody that know that history know that it was members from the number 12 mosque out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania that went to DC and did that assassination. When you look at number 12 mosque, the same person that the brother was mentioning about, Jeremiah Shabazz in Atlanta, Georgia, he became the head of number 12 mosque out there in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A good book to read is called Black Brothers Incorporated, which talks about the Philadelphia Black Mafia and their interconnections with the Nation of Islam. So that's all I wanted to say. The dude underground, you don't know what you're talking about. For you to just say New York, Connecticut, and Jersey and cut out Philly, that's dumb. Anybody in the Nation of Islam will tell you the deep connections of Philadelphia and the Nation of Islam.
Right,
And when Malcolm X came out of prison, he did not go to New York first. He went to Philadelphia first, and he was staying with Jeremiah Shabazz up there around 25th Street in North Philadelphia. So, brother, learn your history before you come in the comments and talk things you have no knowledge of. That's all.
Right. All right. Let me go to hey, how much more time you got, brother Khalil? I don't want to keep you all day, man.
Hey, brother, keep them coming, brother. I don't mind.
All right. Cosmic Sankofa, what it is, brother? Talk to me.
Hey, yo, peace, light and love, peace and love to the panel. I was wondering if the brother could shed some light on the teachings or the relationship recently, or the conversation that I've heard about the connection that the Nation of Islam, or portions of the Nation of Islam or something, it has with Scientology. And then I remember years ago I attended a class, and the person teaching the class began to talk about chakras. Now, is that something that is being incorporated into the teachings of the Nation of Islam, or can you shed light on that conversation that's happening now?
Yeah, that's what Louis Farrakhan and his organization, and that's why when the brother was talking about us just holding up the dirt, you can't just hold up the dirty glass or the clean glass net. You got to speak out against the foolishness that's done in the name of the Nation of Islam. Now, Honorable Elijah Muhammad never taught us about Scientology. He resurrected the black man with Islam. He never used Scientology to try to resurrect us. That's something new that Minister Farrakhan adds in. So that has nothing at all to do with the teachings of the messenger.
All right, thank you.
Oh, all right, let me get my man Deshaun in the building. Deshaun, what it is, brother?
Hotep Black Power. I wanted to address what's the brother's name? Brother Bahash. Am I saying correct? He was questioning the Nation of Islam's authenticity.
Who you talking about, Deshaun?
There was a brother up here. His name is with a B.
Oh, Bakwash. Yeah, that's cut your camera on, Bakwash.
Okay, well, this is what I wanted
to. That's Bakwash.
Oh, yes, Bakwash. I'm sorry. I wanted to ask you, dear brother, are you aware that several prominent members of the Nation of Islam for decades have made the pilgrimage to Mecca, including Dr. Khalil Muhammad, who went maybe 7 times, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who has been invited several times, Muhammad Ali, and last but certainly not least, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad made the pilgrimage to Mecca in 1959 before Malcolm. So if the Nation of Islam, keep in mind, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the pilgrimage process, but before you get into Mecca, you have to go before the pilgrimage committee, and they ask you a series of questions, and you have to pass. And if you don't pass, you don't get into Mecca. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was allowed into Mecca as a, quote, true Muslim. So if Elijah Muhammad was not regarded as a true Muslim, why was he allowed into Mecca, calling himself the messenger of God? Are you aware of this?
I'm aware of that, but I'm also aware that his son has a completely different understanding of Islam than the father, as well as Malcolm, after they made their pilgrimage. Is that not
brother,
true?
This is the thing. You're talking about, okay, brother, that doesn't answer the question. You're talking about Imam Wallace D. Muhammad. Imam Wallace D. Muhammad had never believed in his father's theology, but he always said that had it not been for his father, he never would have loved Islam the way he did. Malcolm had went to Arabia in 1959, where he had saw, being the national representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He traveled all over the world. That's where he got the name Malik Shabazz from. That was the name that he used in the Muslim world. And he encountered true Muslims while he was Elijah Muhammad's spokesman. Elijah Muhammad had, quote, true Muslims, white Muslims, sit at his table. So what I'm saying is that we have to be very careful about what is considered to be, quote, true Islam, because once again, if you are not, quote, see, you didn't answer the question, you deflected. If you are
No, I
not,
didn't. Ask me again, because maybe I didn't understand you. I have no problem asking you a question.
If the Nation of Islam are not considered to be true Muslims, why have prominent members of the Nation of Islam, including the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, have been allowed to make Hajj? I'm going to name up again. Elijah Muhammad, Muhammad Ali, he made the pilgrimage while he was in the Nation of Islam. Dr. Khalil Abdul Muhammad, dear brother, Minister Farrakhan, who's been invited several times. In fact, the leadership of the Nation of Islam has made Hajj. And in fact, I know individual members and even some 5%ers who've made the pilgrimage to Mecca. So we have to be very careful.
So you're saying there's a certain firewall, spiritual firewall they have to cross in order to make Hajj, which would make
you have to go. You have to go before the Hajj committee. And
well, let me ask you a question on that. And I won't be long, sa.neter. Let me ask you a question on that. I understand what you're saying, but those same people that gave them the pass to make Hajj, would they say there's a difference between their understanding of Islam and the FOI? I think there's a
just like there's a difference between Catholicism and Protestantism, just like there's a difference between Methodism, the Seventh-day Adventists, Baptists, First Baptist, Second Baptist, etc. You get what I'm saying?
No, but
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Same concept.
I'm sorry. Good.
Differences. Let me tell you something. What Professor James Small said. He said this on sa.neter show. He has said this in my interview with him. Remember, Professor Small used to be an imam. He was the imam of Muslim Mosque Incorporated, the organization that Brother Malcolm founded. When he made Hajj in 1966, the year after Malcolm was assassinated, they didn't ask him about Muslim Mosque Incorporated. Professor Small said that the ulama, these are the scholars, the sheikhs, the ones that determine the course of Islam. He said they asked him, how was Haji Muhammad doing? How was, Elijah Muhammad? When you make the pilgrimage, you get Hajj. He said they asked him, how's Hajj Elijah Muhammad doing? And he said that he was respected amongst the scholars. You understand where I'm coming from? And keep in mind, since we're talking about Islam, every so-called racial group, ethnicity, has their own form of Islam. But anything that Black people do, it is always challenged. What the Honorable Elijah Muhammad brought, and Brother Khalil, I'm sure, will agree with this. If you study the white man scholars or some of the Negro scholars, if you would, I hate to use that term, they would tell you that the Nation of Islam, as my professor, Dr. Patricia Reed Merritt, has said to me my freshman year of college in 1996, the Nation of Islam was clearly tailored for African Americans. What Elijah Muhammad and Master Farad Muhammad taught was not for the rest of the world. It was for us.
But that's the problem I have. You said it was clearly tailored for Black people. What was tailored for? Listen, hear me out. What was tailored? Listen, what I'm asking you. What was tailored for Black people? Does it conflict with the Quran? That's one. The brother brought up about. Let me make my point. The brother brought up the point about the white man grafted by Yaqub, the big-headed scientist on the island of Patmos. Is that in Quran? So I'm saying that 15 more seconds. What I'm saying is that the book, the Quran, that's the mediator. That's the rule you got to follow. If you are outside of the book, then you're outside of Islam, right?
Well, if you're outside of it, okay. If you're out, hold on, that is correct. But keep in mind, the Bible, the Quran, the book of coming forth by day, the Hosea, which were created by our ancestors, are written in symbols. You understand where I'm coming from? Are written in symbolism. But I'm going to say this again. If they are outside of the Quran or the fold of Islam, they never would have been permitted in Mecca. Only, quote, true Muslims are allowed in Mecca. It's like you're kind of like ignoring that. You understand what I'm coming from?
All right. Hold on. Bakwas, I don't know why that would be a problem for you when you say that the Bible is strictly for Black people. The Bible is strictly for Hebrew Israelites. The Bible is not for everybody else. So when this brother is telling you that he's 100% correct when he say that the Nation of Islam was for African people only first. That's how it started off. And Brother Bakwas, when you talk about Khalid Abdul Muhammad going into Mecca and making these trips back and forth over to these places, you got to really state what he said. He said, I don't know what the hell Malcolm saw over there. Remember when
right.
Malcolm said, I'm over there with the blue eyes, drinking at the same cup, and we are all brothers. Khalil went over there and cleared that up. He said, I don't know
That's
what
right.
the hell Malcolm saw, but when I went over there, I seen racist, damn Arabs all over the place. He said you could take the bread, and he said they would throw the bread up in the air and watch black people scurry all over the ground just to eat the bread. So he said racism is thick in the air that you can cut it in the air, in the atmosphere with a knife. That's how thick it was. So Khalid Abdul Muhammad, brother, don't break it. So he said that Khalid Abdul Muhammad didn't go over there and didn't give a damn how they felt about him. Was he a real Muslim or was he not? He didn't give a damn about that. You see what I'm saying? So we got to understand that, man. He was he went over there and said these are wicked people as well. These are rusty, dusty, dirty Arabs. So Khalid,
okay, sir. But ISUPK does not say the Bible is only for black people.
Yes, they do.
They say no. ISUPK does not say that. They say it's for Native American, Mexican.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I got what you say.
It's for Israelites, not for black people.
Right, I got you. You're correct.
And our teachings are within the book. You understand? If we say something and you can confront me and say that's not within the book. But now when you talking about Yaqub, the big head scientist, that's not in your book. Yaqub, the big head scientist. Real quick. One more point. Yeah, unless you can show it to me, you can't show me Yaqub, the big head scientist in the Quran. You can't show me the lost tribe of Shabazz in the Quran. Can you show me those 2 points in the Quran?
What you saying? You talking about as an Israelite? You talking about what you talking about is in the Bible. The Bible on the cover says this is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings to us. He said when you look at the Bible on the cover, it says Holy Bible. Then under Holy Bible, it says King James Version. He said it's impossible for it to be a version and holy at the same time. Because holy means something that has not been tampered with, diluted, or mixed at any time.
No, no, sir.
So,
it only means separation.
So when you have the gospel according to Matthew, the gospel according to Matthew was written after the death of Jesus. So when Israelites be talking about the Bible says don't pay attention, I'm paraphrasing, when they say you're not supposed to accept a teaching of a different Jesus. The New Testament is a different Jesus. It ain't, Jesus never saw the gospel of Matthew, the gospel according to Luke and all of that. He never saw that. That's something that came after him. That's something that somebody else wrote about him. So when you say that is Yaqub in the Quran, that it makes no difference if Yaqub isn't, because at the time that Prophet Muhammad was around, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the white race ruled for 6,000 years. And everybody is waiting on the Mahdi. Everybody is waiting on the Christ. Everybody is waiting on the return of Jesus. Because it's some information that they supposed to bring that all the rest of the prophets didn't bring. In the Bible, it talks about the spirit of truth. And it says when he comes, he will lead you into all truth. So even by that statement alone, it's known that it's more truth than that what's in the Bible. It's more truth than what's in the Quran. And that more truth was going to be revealed at the end. We at the end. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad revealed to us that truth that's not in the Bible, that's not in the Holy Quran, that truth that only the spirit of truth would know, and he would lead us. He led us into all truth. What was we supposed to do in America? We were supposed to continue to eat hog. We were supposed to continue to wear our slave names. We were supposed to continue to hate ourselves. Then we would be right. That ain't in the Quran either. Us being called Jenkins, Jackson, Jones, Smith, and Culpeper, that ain't in the Quran. But did the Arabs or any Orthodox Muslim come over here and tell us that? It's not in the Quran for us to eat hog. But did any Orthodox Muslim come? But when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad come teach us, that ain't in the Quran. It's like, who are you trying to convince? Because us in the nation, we don't care what people think. You can say it ain't. It's not in the Quran, but it's still a fact. If you want to fry some chicken or you want to bake some salmon, it ain't in the Quran. But you can still go find the facts about baking chicken or baking salmon. It don't have to be in the Quran.
But you said we could find the facts about baking chicken and baking salmons. Where can we find the facts about Yaqub, the big-headed scientist, on the island of Patmos? Secondly,
a message to the black man,
which is a man's ideology. But the second, let me ask you a question.
The Quran is man's ideology.
You say all praises to Muhammad. Let me ask you a question. Who is mentioned mostly in the Quran? Jesus Christ or Muhammad? Whose name do you see mainly mentioned in the Quran? Jesus Christ. Jesus. And who did more miracles in the Quran? Jesus Christ or Muhammad? In the Quran, didn't Jesus take soil or dirt and mold it into a bird and breathe into it, and it flew and lived?
That's spookism, brother.
Yeah, Jesus in the Quran, brother. There is no Jesus in the Quran. Being that you want to use
that's not true. You heard him, sa.neter. I asked him who is mentioned.
Listen, in the Holy Quran, it makes it plain that all that it talks about in the Bible, in the Holy Quran about the prophets is a story. The Holy Quran does not give genealogies. It don't say Jesus begot this one and this one begot that one, because the Holy Quran does not deal with none of that. The Holy Quran is stories of the prophets.
But the Holy Quran does mention Jesus, right?
Yeah, it mentions Jesus.
And does it respect Jesus as a person in the Quran?
Yes, sir.
And Jesus as well as Mary is mentioned more times than Muhammad in the Quran. Right. So the point I'm trying to make, these are very important people in the Quran, as well as the Israelites. It tells you in the Quran that you ought to adhere to the prophets of the Israelites in the Quran.
No, sir. It says that Jesus was a Muslim. Jesus submitted to the will of Allah. That's what you Israelite, y'all be leaving out real important parts when y'all be trying to talk about what the Quran say. The Quran don't say we supposed to worship on the Sabbath. Every day is Allah's day. We don't worship on no Sabbath. We don't do nothing that y'all do. We believe that the Jews murdered the prophets. We believe they add lies to the scriptures. Say it all. Don't just say how the Holy Quran talk about Jesus. Talk about how it talk about the Jews, the murders of the prophets. Don't trust them. It say don't take the Jews nor Christians for friends. So it don't talk highly of Israelites. But y'all trying to quote the Holy Quran.
It talks about Muslims too. Talk about Islam too.
Like the Quran speaks highly of Israelites when it don't.
That brother made a good point. The evils that the Jews did not the Muslims do the same evils?
No, sir.
You had them under bondage in Arab. You did in Iraq and in Arabia.
Arabs.
Wait! I'm finna take you down to Africa right now. Y'all also invaded Africa. If you ever heard of it, they got two Sabaeans. One is of a Shemitic descent, one is not. The one that went down there in Africa went along with the Himyarites. If you know the Himyarites, those are Khazars. So yeah, y'all put a lot of the people under captivity.
This is what y'all.
I got the information.
Wait a minute. Hold on. This is what y'all fail to realize about Islam. When Allah represents himself in Islam, he don't represent himself like the God that the Jews try to write into the Bible, saying, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Allah don't say, I'm the God of Muhammad, Ishmael, or no Arabs. Allah says, I am the Lord of the worlds. I'm everybody's God. And he says that he raises up a prophet and a messenger for all in Islam, an Arab can't come to black people and teach them Islam. If Allah wants us to learn Islam, he sends another black person. He sends a prophet and a messenger from among the people. So there's no way that Islam could be forced on a black person by an Arab. Arabs are not forcing Islam on black people. There's no way, because Arabs can only teach Arabs Islam. Black Africans can only teach. Allah only gonna raise up a black African for black Africans. So when y'all say that Islam was what did they teach if Islam was forced on black people? We know that the Bible talks about slave, obey your master, turn the other cheek, bless those who despitefully use you. And that is a part of the Bible. Christians still believe that now. What was the Arabs force that Islam teach? What was they forcing on us that went from Islam? Because the Holy Quran does not say turn the other cheek. It don't say bless those who despitefully use you. It say the murder of the Muslim must be killed regardless to who he is. It says fight with those who fight with you. That's Islam. It don't say turn the other cheek.
Fight your oppressor too.
When they was forcing Islam on black people, what they was teaching?
Okay, now if you really want to go back, you really want to
hold on, brother. But Quas keep on referring to the Quran, and I keep telling him that the Quran don't call. There's no Jesus in the Quran, brother.
So what is he? So you're saying the brother is
no? I'm not saying that. What the Qurans call him, who they say Jesus, they say no. His name is Isa.
Well, you know what I mean, brother. Let
me finish. Good. So if they saying his name is Esau and not Jesus or not Yahweh, then what are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Because, no, hold on. Because when they say Esau, guess what? In Arabic, Esau is feminine and it is masculine. So is Jesus feminine or masculine? Because you can use it as both. Go and look it up. Type it in. Esau is feminine and masculine. It's a feminine and masculine name.
So are you saying he never existed in the Quran? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is there's no Jesus. They don't use the term Jesus.
So Esau, then?
Like the Quran is right. So if the Quran is right, then his name is Esau. Why y'all calling him Yeshua?
So everybody will understand.
All right, so from now on, now that you know that the Quran call him Esau, will you begin to say Esau?
I'll say Esau, but I'll say Esau. But my point, as far as Esau is concerned, you got an echo on your side. That's you.
I'm gonna let Apostle talk because he want to talk right quick.
Right. I'll fall back.
All right, Apostle, go ahead, brother.
He's muted.
No, he's not. We can't hear you, Apostle.
Shabazz, you want that debate?
What's that?
Let's get it in. Let's get the debate in. You said the Bible's false, right? You said some
yes, sir.
False, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's go with that. Which one?
We can't hear you, Apostle. You got to go.
I don't mind a debate at all. I don't mind.
Okay, so we can have a debate on which scriptures you feel that's false. And just shoot them to me, and I can shoot them right back to where we can.
The first scripture that we could just talk about is when it say Jesus rode a cloud into heaven.
Okay, and that's a parable. I already got that.
Hold on. See how y'all move the goalposts. Where it say that's a parable?
The Bible says precept upon precept, line upon line. That's the way it must be.
You know what I'm saying?
And when you go to the clock, say what you're gonna say. I want to hear. I want to hear what you say.
This is what Israel. I watch Israelites, brother. You wouldn't believe how much I watch. I don't watch ISUPK that much, but I do watch Israel United in Christ. I hear the precept upon precept stuff because
you're watching false prophets.
That's how you move the goalposts.
I see false prophets too. I done cooked Bishop Nathan. I cooked everybody in a damn organization. I done cooked ISUPK, everybody in a damn organization. I done cooked.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, guys, I just want to say because I got to
call. I said you keep saying Esau. It's not Esau. It's Isa. Two different words. Two different people. Arabic for Christ is Isa. ESA. Okay, that's Arabic. Christ was a Hebrew. He would not have an Arabic name. He has a Hebrew name.
You say he was a Hebrew, but the Muslims say he was a Muslim.
Well, he wasn't. He was of the tribe of Judah.
Well, Bakwash keep using the Quran like it's the word.
Yeah. The point is, let me say, don't stop my flow. This brother keep quoting scripture, but taking it out of context.
Who you talking about?
Shabazz. When it talks about the spirit of truth that would come, that's the Holy Kadash. That's the Ruach in Hebrew. And it came on the day of Pentecost. We know that. When it talked about Elijah, Christ said, Elijah, John the Baptist is Elijah, who has come back. So whatever the Bible prophesied that will come, either it hasn't come, or meaning it will come, or it has come. So when they talk about the Holy Spirit that will lead you into all truth, it's talking of the day of the Pentecost, and we have the Holy Spirit with us now that leads us into all truth. So when I study the book, and the King James Version, and maybe only one other version, have the words in Christ in red. Not every Bible has the words of Christ in red. And there were several Bibles written already before Muhammad was born. Several Bibles. Okay? If he was born in the year 535, 500 and something, you had the Vulgate Bible already written. You had Codex Sinaiticus already written. Codex Evaticus already written. You had many books already written that the King James was translated from, the Septus Receptor. Okay, that was written in Koine Greek. The Vulgate was written in Latin. Okay, that's where the Bishop Bible comes from. That was written in 1500, before the King James Bible. So when you quoting the scripture and you're talking about scripture, make sure, please, Muhammad came to the Jewish community first, and they rejected him. They rejected him. That's why he went into Jerusalem to preach. I think his great-grandmother was of the tribe of Israel, one of the tribes. But he was not a black man. His slave Bilal was a black man. And for that purpose, I must ask you, sir, looking at Farad, what nationality was Farad?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, looking at him.
Black man.
Oh, he's a black man.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, hey, I'm gonna thank everybody for coming through. Asu, man, of course, Bakwash, and I want to give my brother
Let's get
Shabazz.
that debate in, Shabazz.
Hey, Shabazz, what state are you from? What state are you from, Shabazz?
Michigan.
Okay.
Oh, Michigan. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and
Southwest Detroit, baby.
Yes, I want to allow my brother Shabazz to close us out. Go ahead, brother. You get the last word. Close us out, brother.
I enjoyed. I appreciate all the brothers and the questions. And I don't mean no disrespect to anybody who not disrespecting the message. I don't want brothers who love the messenger and not Muslims think that I'm here to disrespect them. My whole purpose is to defend the good name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I end with that. Assalamu alaikum.
I agree with the brother 100%. I'm not a Muslim or none of that, but I understand that the messenger man was very important to our people. We need to understand that. I don't see any other man at that time, and even right now to this day, that was more important than the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who came to teach us to do. It came to teach us to do for self, to build your own schools, build everything that he told us to do. If we would have done it, we would have been better off right now. So with that, peace and blessings to you, man. Peace and blessings to everybody. Thank y'all for coming on, and I hope to bring you on again.
Yes, sir. I'm happy to be back.
No.
Let's get it in,
All right, I appreciate
you. Brother.
Hey, tell us I stop trying to protect you, bro.
All right, peace, brother. I'm not trying to protect you. All right, peace and blessings. Noble Drew Ali. Peace to everybody. All right, we out, y'all. Okay, that was a beautiful one. That was a good one. I think the brother Shabazz came on, held it down. He stood on his ground, and he wasn't talking about all Israelites. So we want to make that clear. He was only talking about those who attacked the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and we know who that is. That's Captain Tazarach. You know Captain gonna be hitting me up. He gonna want to come on and get it in. He gonna call me early in the morning tomorrow. Saw, you got to hook it up. Saw, I need to get him. I'm like, oh man, Captain, man. So anyway, we out of here, y'all. Peace and blessings to everybody.
Frankie on the trendsetter, sa.neter. You did it again, man. HOK Field Marshal, you know? None of them can bother than sa.neter. Violate the general. End up in a blood clot funeral home. Anchor the AK, Jabari got the crown. Hector with the heart, we sending them home. Regina the alley with a Cuban and a galley. Send you back on Nile Valley with a shot in your toe intellectually. How click the link if your scholarship sloppy. More just want make you cry with the truth. No lie, my youth, him a real historian. 21 gun salute for commission. Not a brother, a hustle, a move like I left out the black woman not all like Tulsa and the Yana for sister freedom. I the whole panel know what time for Bible thumping. The minute them see me come, revelation set. Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can bother than sa.neter. None of them can bother than sa.neter. Them got a podcast but saw better.
Coast to coast we be banging. Coast to coast we be bringing all this knowledge we be slanging. In the HOK we don't do no entertaining.
Speaking truth, speaking facts.
What the niggas just a layman. Better get on one accord. The future can be yours. Ancestors push you more. We gotta go explore the sciences and math. The future's based on class. You bout to catch my wrath. We turning up this track.
In the dark spots of the light.
The dark heart still fight. We gotta make this right. Talk right now. We learn how to stand up and stand proud. No man down. We fam now. House of the country, my clan now.
Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can bother than sa.neter. None of them can bother than sa.neter. Them got a podcast but saw better.
When I look at you niggas, I see what I'm not. Go take him, a little bit of her, mix it with them, I put them in a pot. You still can't get none like me. It might sound the same, but it's unlikely. One white tee. If I lift it up, you niggas gonna see where the gun might be. I thought I told ya. Affirmation, revelation, we some soldiers. sa.neter put this team together, now it's over. We got the weight of the world up on my shoulder. When you get conscious information, hearts turn colder. Now look at these strappers who rapping the same, so stuck in their lane, systemically, chemically. I'm thinking something is wrong with their brain. As long as they paid and for in the chain, I got nothing to say. They in love with the gang. I traded my gang for change, and now that I changed, a few things still say the same.
Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can bother than sa.neter. None of them can bother than sa.neter. Them got a podcast but saw better.